Okay. Good evening, everybody. For those of you who came in on the false start, I apologize, but Twitch does not like my does not like the way that I'm doing uploads, apparently. So tonight we're going to skip Stellaris, with my apologies, because we're in an interesting place. But I wanted to I wanted to do this game relatively soon, because this game is actually currently in Kickstarter. Oh, there goes my frames again. Let me just take a quick minute and see what I can do about this. Hopefully this will fix it. I also had to put in some new network drivers, so that might be causing the dilemma as well. Anyways, hopefully that'll fix things. So apologies, I am all over the I'm all over the map on this. So this is a game. I'm not loading it up quite yet. This is a game called Spinnortality. I first became aware of it through Alexis Kennedy talking about it on his Twitter. Oh, for God's sake. This is an absolute disgrace. I need to find out if my ISP or Twitch is responsible for these network problems, because this has been pretty persistent for the past 2 weeks. Okay, I am doing a terrible job of introducing this game. So yeah, I think Alexis Kennedy had sort of mentioned it while he was doing his Cultist Simulator campaign. Now, obviously, I was really interested in Cultist Simulator. It was a lot of fun to play, and I took a look at Spinnortality, and it seemed like that magical category of my kind of thing. So it's been available. I was told that there was a really good demo for it, and I had no idea where to find it. And of course, now that the Kickstarter is out, it's there's a link to the demo. It's on itch. So if you are interested in this game, you can do !game. It should give you a link to the Kickstarter and such. If you are if you're on the fence, I don't know if this game will tell you, or this session will tell you anything about it that you can't find out on your own. I'm using this as an opportunity to play this for the first time myself. I started on the tutorial, and then I had to go and do something else, so I'm sort of out of the loop myself. And because the campaign is currently going, I actually want to decide whether or not I want to back this thing. So I thought, what better way to introduce the game than to try it myself. We'll maybe learn it together. For those of you who are interested in it, it's got a 15,000. So Kickstarter automatically converts things to my local currency. So for me, it's Canadian. 15,000 Canadian, 10,000 euros. So it's 3,853 euros pledged. So it's a little over the third of the way. But this is definitely something that could use it. It had a really strong start, and as is the way with Kickstarters, things sort of slow a little bit. So I hope that there's a few of you out there who will be interested in it, and we help the game find its audience. So enough of that. Sorry guys, I'm just taking a quick minute here. Sorry, just taking a look at some of the frame dropping issues. I don't know if I have any hope on fixing frame dropping issues. If you guys could let me know whether or not it's actually interfering with the overall broadcast. But I think I've given. I mean, it's 5 minutes in. If anybody's going to be watching this, we're probably at the the magic hour. So. All right, short credits. What do I want to name my mega corporation? What is a sinister name? Or maybe we don't do a sinister name. Maybe we do a very, very benign title. Hello, Commander. Okay, so this is what I wanted to do. I found out that there's a starting tutorial in this, so this is basically my opportunity to learn the game. And if the drop frames become too much of a problem, please let me know. I also just want to double check that I properly tweeted out the cast. Yes, I did. Okay. Welcome to Spinnortality, a cyberpunk strategy management game where you run a mega corporation in the near future. Click the next button to continue. In Spinnortality, you control a huge company. Your goals are to keep the company afloat, become more powerful and wealthy, become immortal, and eventually control the political landscape of the entire globe. You'll need to make profits by selling technologies. To do this, you will choose how to market this tech in different nations. Sometimes you will need to bribe politicians to pass laws to make these technologies legal. First, you should get an overview of your company. Click this button in the top left corner of the screen. This window shows details about your company. This is you. You are young at the moment, but you will age over time. If you die, the game is over. Excuse me. As you progress through the game, you may find ways to become immortal and cheat death. Now click the Goals button, the chess piece at the top left of the screen. The screen shows your short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. This task is your short-term goal. The board of directors for your company will assign you tasks throughout the game. They are non-critical, but they can give you useful rewards. These agendas are your medium-term goals. These are extensive projects which give you a significant advantage. Expensive, but useful. Finally, these are your long-term goals. Achieve one of these and you will claim victory. For each victory, you must complete several agendas and control the world's nations. So, imperial victory, rule with an iron fist, surveillance, propaganda, and brutality have made efficient through technology. Have 12 agenda points. Implement this agenda: Black Ops Division, Global Police Force, Observation Net, Military Strike Force, Media Firewall. All nations on the globe are following one-party state. Consumerism victory, which is currently covered by the tutorial. Okay, we'll check these out later. To summarize, keep your company afloat by selling technologies. Take advantage of short-term tasks to receive rewards. Become immortal before you die of old age. Pursue medium-term agendas to receive significant rewards. Tutorials such as this appear occasionally to teach you how to do these things. You can close them at any time by pressing the X button in the top right corner of the window. Let's get to work and research a new technology. Click the Research button at the top left of the screen. This is the research tree. It shows projects you can research, organized into different groups. Light projects are available, dark projects are locked. The arrows show which projects unlock others. On the right of the tree is a project called Social Media. Find Social Media and click it. I'm assuming this probably is the result of some feedback of somebody saying, it's like, I don't know where the other one is. I think it's kind of implied through the fact that this is covered up. But you've selected the Social Media project. On the panel to the right is a description of the project and other details. So it's an all-in-one social media platform, work, friends, hobbies, your life online. It can be monetized. Notice that social media can be monetized. I did notice that. It also has a special effect. It will increase media power in each nation where it is launched. You currently have 10 workers, 5 interns, and 5 regular employees. Click the plus button on the top right of the panel to assign 1 worker to this project. Good. At this rate, though, it will take a long time to finish the project. If you assign more workers, they will finish the project more quickly. Assign all your workers to this project. You can left-click the buttons to assign workers one by one, or right-click to assign all workers. I am very good at managing companies. Good. Now it will only take 2 turns. You are finished here for now, so close the research window. 10 workers are not enough for a growing megacorporation. We should recruit some more. Click the Workers button at the top left screen. This shows the different worker types you can hire. Press the plus button next to Employees to hire regular employee. Good. Hire 5 employees. You can right-click to hire 5. Oh, it's like I wonder if I right-clicked when I had 1, if it would just fill the slot. It will take some time for our employees to arrive and our social media research to complete. So click the End Turn button, the hourglass in the bottom right of the screen. Each turn represents 3 months, 1 fiscal quarter. You have some messages. Left-click the highlighted message at the bottom left corner on the screen to read it. This is a message. These notify you about important events. You can open them by left-clicking and delete them by right-clicking. Can't. It'd be nice if I could move these, either the tutorial window or the... I guess I can technically close this, but... we thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. North Africa has become a one-party state. North America has formed a democratic government. The Middle East has become a one-party state. Russia has formed a democratic government. Asia has become a one-party state. South Africa has formed a democratic government. South America has formed a democratic government. Europe has formed an incorporated nation. And Oceania has formed a democratic government. The Justice Party has won election in South Africa, ousting their opponents from office. And the Liberty Party has won election in South America, retaining their position of power. Now click the message with a question mark. This is a decision message. You cannot end the turn until you have made a decision. You can mouse over the decision buttons to see different outcomes. Read the message and choose an option. Alright, it has come to our attention that a local media conglomerate in North Africa is having a fire sale to raise some emergency capital. We could snap up the assets in question for a knockdown price, increasing our media presence in the country. So for 5 million, we can gain 5% media power in North Africa, or we can say, no, just snap them up and sell them for a quick buck and gain 4 million. So I don't know if there's depreciation in terms of media power, then I have a suspicion that that's not going to be too helpful to me. But I've got almost the largest amount of cash that I'm going to have at this stage of the game, so buy recklessly. Our social media project is not yet complete. You can check its progress in the research window if you wish. There's nothing left to do, so end the turn. But what about this? New task. It has come to the board's attention that the following task is of the utmost importance and should be undertaken as soon as possible. Breakeven. We are losing money. Ensure that we gain more income than we have expenses. Boards, am I right, guys? Currently, you have 2 types of workers, interns and employees. Interns are cheap and effective. They take only one turn to recruit, so are useful in the short term when money is tight. However, they have a higher chance of suddenly leaving the company. Your company loses efficiency every time an employee leaves, so interns can be a bad long-term solution. Employees are less likely to leave, but take longer to recruit. They also are slightly better at their jobs. Their wages are twice that of interns. Social media has been researched, so you can now launch it to start generating revenue. To do so, click Nation on the globe. Sorry guys, I'm just going to refresh for a little bit because I'm looking at these big spikes in my bit rates. Yeah, this is a disgrace. All right. Good old North America. You've selected a nation. In this future, the world's countries have merged into massive superstates. They are unwieldy and politically stagnant. Each nation has a different culture, measured with 7 variables. One country might be very individualistic, somewhat spiritual, and totally xenophobic, for example. You recently researched social media. Click on the social media entry in the nation window. Now you choose the spin angle to use to market the technology. The spin angle determines this tech's marketing campaign in this nation. You only have 1 or 2 spin angles right now. Mouse over the spin angle. This shows you information about the spin angle. Each angle targets one main cultural value and perhaps 1 or 2 secondary values. For example, it might focus mainly on collectivism, but a little on multiculturalism. So in this case, stay up to date. Tech is always changing. New tech, new services, new products. Welcome to the cutting edge of social media. So it's individualist or collectivist, security or freedom, spirituality or material wealth, privacy or publicity, quality or convenience, tradition or novelty, xenophobia, multiculturalism, prosperity or chaos. I am going to assume, get a good grip on yourself here, guys. This might have something to do with novelty. The better the spin angle matches a culture, the more money you will earn from the launch tech each turn. Launch the project now. First, click a spin angle. Well, seeing as this says stay up to date, I'm actually going to take a look and see. I'm assuming we can't... What? Polar bears don't have money in this future? Man, it really is a dystopia. All right, so I'm going to guess that South America is probably the best target for this. I mean, if I wanted to test this hypothesis, right, I would launch it in 2 countries. One would be in South America, and then the other would be in North Africa to take a look at the 2 results. El Canoe, thank you very much for the host. How are you doing tonight? Oh, Europe as well. But South America seems to have a lower tax rate, so... but it's got the uncertainty of democracy. How you doing? What were you playing tonight? I didn't get a chance to see before I went online. For those of you not knowing, actually, El Canoe is kind enough to let me know. He started, so he's been playing Dark Souls 2 for a while, and he just started on the DLC. So he, that was, as you guys probably know, that was sort of the point where I realized how good the game was and why I thought it was a worthy successor to the original. So if you are interested, I strongly recommend that you check him out. I don't think I have any mods in here, so I'll give you a quick shout out myself. By the way, guys, I didn't do this earlier, but I should. If you guys are interested in this, it's got a Kickstarter going on right now, 10 euros, and you will get a copy of it. You can also, it is important to remember on these things, you don't have to get the game if you're not interested in it. If you just want to support it because somebody's pursuing a dream and you would like to see more people achieve this sort of thing, then, you know, you can even just put €1 towards it, right? Every little bit helps. Finished Octave and then went for Tales of Cosmos. I've not even heard of either of those. Are they any good? But guys, El Canoe is a French caster. Definitely somebody who I recommend you check out if you like watching diversity of games. He's got, first of all, an absolutely sinful library. It is enormous. I don't know how he got so many games. But he gives every game 100%. if I were ever to be somebody who was responsible for handing out keys to people, I would always make sure that El Canu got one, because even if he's playing a game that is obviously not that well put together, I really think he has a way of finding the core of a game and finding why somebody would be interested in it. So again, if you're somebody who, if you want to learn how to be a better streamer, if you want to learn sort of find some new things that are off the beaten track. I mean, Christmas is coming up. Maybe you guys want to get some gift recommendations or something like that. I do strongly recommend El Canu's channel, even if you don't speak French. He's a really, really good caster, more or less a born entertainer, really. And he definitely plays a lot of things that I've found very interesting, and I've definitely wound up buying some games off of his streams. So, anyways, yeah, so South America, low taxes, high novelty. This seems to be the best way to start. So, every tech launch costs money. For the purposes of this tutorial, you have been granted an extra $4 million to pay for this launch. Click the launch campaign button. The project will take 1 turn to launch, so deal with any decisions and end the turn. I completely forgot that there was one here. We received a job application from a skilled and appropriate candidate. We think they would be a good fit for our company vision, and they are willing to start immediately. So they start work tomorrow, gain 1 employee, or we're not looking to grow our workforce right now. Oh yes. Always increase the headcount. All right, I don't think we have anything else to do. Oh yes, we have new employees, so I should probably put them to work. Eyes of Sin, how are you doing, my lady? I don't know if I'm allowed to call her my lady. All right. Meta friendship? How many do I've got 16 people that I can put to... Okay, well, we can do gene stims or business tracking. Let's see. Okay, fully integrated system for tracking every part of a user's business, tasks, management, efficiency, etc. All workers gain a 5% efficiency for all tasks. That seems like not a bad way to spend my time. And stimulants rewire customers' DNA to require less sleep, minus 5% to inefficiency growth. So I can either improve things... Well, this is going to generate more income, so let's throw our whole workforce at business efficiency. Milady or my lady is perfectly acceptable. How are you doing tonight, Sin? I'm sorry I got back to your home tour so late. That was actually very charming to see, but it was a busy day at work. So I should mention, guys, Eyes of Sin is also a caster. I don't know when she'll be casting next, but she's quite a talented artist. I know a few of you like the sound of my voice and the way that I read things. Eyes of Sin also has a very nice voice herself. But more importantly, too, I will never grow tired of telling this story. I remember starting with her stream, and she kind of came in after I'd done a charity thing with Jessie Quill. And I found out she was streaming, and I'm kind of like, just at the height of arrogance, oh, I'll go help out this, mod turned streamer. I'll do my charity for the day. Little do I know she's got like 50 people inside of there, is absolutely killing it, doing a great job with Pokemon. Everybody's having a great time, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could cast like this. So yeah, she's an absolutely wonderful caster. She's also been doing a game which I like quite a bit from the iPad called Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery. And it's a game, I played it on the iPad. She's playing it on PC. But it's a really creative sort of pixel art point-and-click adventure. A few references to Legend of Zelda inside of it. Canadian game, which is one major reason why I have stuck with it. There's been a lot of fun watching her play it because it's it's a chance for me to sort of relive the experience. It was one of the first things I ever played on an iPad. But I also am sort of undervaluing the latest thing that she's done, which is, of course, some creative casting. So but definitely recommend that you check her out. She does not stream regularly, but she is definitely somebody who's worth giving a follow to. And once you do see her online, you will be very happy that that you did. You'll be casting next on someone else's channel tomorrow, most likely helping out with somebody else's cast, playing Dream Daddy, and pitching in with the voices. Oh, whose channel is it? You can check how well the launch campaign went by clicking on the nation and clicking on the text entry in the list. The more successful the launch, the more income you will earn from tech per turn. All right, so our hypothesis about novelty was correct. Looks like that is, well, I'm assuming 5 stars is the best. I don't see why it would be anything else. Ah, I have a feeling you've been dragging him into my channel recently. For your tech to sell well, you need to decide which cultures will respond to which spin angles. Look at the spin angle again, click the tech list, and move over the spin angle to read it again. Read the text and decide which cultural values this angle will appeal to. For example, collectivism, novelty, convenience, multiculturalism. Once you've decided what kind of culture would respond well, search the for a nation with that culture and launch the tech there. You can click and drag the globe to turn it. All right, so I think, oh, it was not North Africa. We had another one. There we go, Europe. I think we'll do the same deal here. You don't have many spin angles at the moment, so your choices will be quite limited. You should research some more spin angles. Click the research button at the top left of the screen. Ah, okay, this will make it a little awkward. From this screen, you can assign workers to generate more spin angles. Notice that social media is a different color than before. This is because the project has been researched. Select social media again. Since this project has been researched, any workers you assign to it will think of new spin angles. The more workers you assign, the greater chance they will think of one. Assign all your workers to this project. All right, this is going to make it a little awkward, but you're finished for now, so deal with any decisions and end the turn. So it says 155% idea chance. I don't know if you get multiple ideas for doing more than one, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down to a nice high probability event. I wonder... Well, you know what? I only need one body, so let's just keep throwing more inside of this. So. Oh, I forgot to... All right, total success with the social media project. Gala event tonight. A major gala event will be held tonight. We have received an invitation for a company representative. This would be a good opportunity to network and build contacts. Who should we send? We can send a security person, 1 to 3 military connections, an official company rep, 1 to 3 class connections, and one of our technical specialists, 1 to 3 cyber connections. So... agenda points, cyber... Okay, so we've got even points for everything. I guess, I mean, this game is all about technology, so I would have said, oh, cyber. Well, that's like related to technology, but I think everything is related to technology here. Anyways, we'll go for technical specialists because it's a cyberpunk game, right? All right, and finally, news. The new face of social media. Procter & Gamble launches a new social media platform in South America. Promises total social experience. Your spin team have thought of a new spin angle. Click on the research button again. Click social media. You can read the project spin angles here. Read it and consider which cultures will respond to it. Never been easier. Friendships are time consuming. In the busy 21st century, it can be hard to make time for them. Let us make it easier. All right, so I'm going to assume that that's a convenience angle. Now find a nation where the spin angle will work well and launch it. Okay. I kind of want to put more... Let's dump our interns into this thing. I guess we'll finish loading out the... I'm not going to have enough people to handle it at the end, so I think I'll just throw some more bodies into this to increase the chance. It seems like we only got 1 out of that, so I'm basically just gonna put the probability to something high, but not I'm not gonna like bet the farm on it or anything like that. Okay. So that was only a 4. Let's take a look at some of the differences between South America and Europe and see where... they're pretty different on... Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to read into that. Let's find a high convenience. Okay, South Africa, but the 60% tax rate. So let's see. 45% tax rate. And it's a one-party state, so it'll probably stay that way for a while. Let's recap. You should research new technologies and spin angles for those technologies. In order to launch them. The better you launch them, the more income you earn from them each turn. To do research, you need workers. Hiring workers is free, but once they arrive, you will pay them every turn. There's one final thing you should know before you start playing. Open the research window again. Masamagoma. This game is called Spinnortality. It's currently doing a Kickstarter. And it's basically, this is a sort of a cyberpunk management sim. You play a mega corporation, and the way it seems to be working right now, the basic sort of idea is that I need to research different technologies and sell them to make a profit. Eventually, I'm going to be getting some technologies that maybe society is not willing to bear, and this will require me to start undermining governments and basically kind of push a particular agenda, make things more adaptable. So this is, I mean, it's Lobbyist Simulator 2000. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. And Mingo Duck, sorry, we're here Friday, you were sick and tired, decided that sleep was probably better for you than staying up till midnight. I agree. That's one of the reasons why I started a little bit later. And you won't be able to be here long tonight. That is totally fine too. You'll notice there's a very dear member of this cast who's not here either. So all right, sorry this is so slow in the start, guys, but this is the secret on this one was I do kind of want to show it off to people, but this is also a chance for me to get to know the game. So, you know, I'm learning while doing this. Some projects are harder to research than others. For example, you can see that Meta Friendship will take 20 worker hours to complete. Posting tips takes 12, and public user data takes 22. It might be tempting to research projects that take less work, but the more expensive a project is, the more income it will generate when launched. Click on Meta Friendship on the far right of the research tree. You can get an estimate of how much income a project will generate by checking the estimated income figure. This is how much money the technology would make if it were launched in an average nation with average success. So 27 million versus social media, which generates 13.5, so exactly twice as much. You now know everything necessary to start playing. Though there are other systems in the game you will encounter, more tutorials like this will assist you on occasion. Tutorial complete. Reward $40 million. Excellent. Okay, so let's decide what we're going to do with our workforce. So we're currently researching gene stems. We're still putting some effort into new angles on social media as well. Or are we? Yes. So I've got 10 people dedicated to that. We've got 12, so we've got 22 people in total. I suppose what it can come down to is when it comes to meta friendship, I'm going to be able to, well, you know what? Let's say I've got 2 dedicated research teams. So I want 10 to continue to develop social media, And then I want 20 to pursue any other technologies, because meta friendship, business tracking, and AI will all take 20. So let's hire 8 more bodies. So 5 and 3 interns. All right. We, the board, happily recognize the success of your mission, Breakeven. We are pleased to report that you have received the following reward, $5 million. Creativity report. The social media creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Never been easier. Friendships are time consuming. In the busy 21st century, it can be hard to make time for them. Let us make it easier. Actually, one thing that's worth mentioning here. So advertising is kind of an interesting topic in economics, because if you think about sort of the standard view that you'll have, and I'm not going to say this is like what all economists think or something like that, but if you consider sort of this usual idea of a rational actor who sort of knows their preferences and is going to sort of maximize their utility, let's say. Advertising is a little bit of a weird idea. If you think about it, you've got like if I know what I want and I have sort of this, if I have this knowledge of what the product is, it's sort of hard for me to think of a way that advertising is suddenly going to convince me. It's not like they're going to be changing my tastes or my preferences. And so some of the ways that advertising sometimes gets modeled is sort of this this show of quality that, you spend some money to show, how good and how successful your product is. So that's kind of, in this case, you can sort of see this game as, like, obviously, if it's going to be cyberpunk, I'm going to assume that there's a certain point where you are starting to mind control people. And yet what's sort of interesting in this case is that you do actually need to adapt your technology to fulfill a need. I kind of like this take, because if you think of it, right, like this is a game where like Facebook can become a mega corporation, right? It starts off as a social media company, and then it starts investing in AI, and then all of a sudden it starts changing governments, and all of a sudden it's a one world state. So it's, yeah. I don't know. I think it's a neat take. Okay, automation is a new way to do business. Don't get left behind. Start tracking now. Material wealth, possibly novelty. So this probably would be a good one for South America. We'll do like one launch of each product a turn. Oop, and I keep forgetting to do these missions. Your interns are wondering whether you are going to hire them full-time. So I can turn one of them into a full-time employee. I can turn 5 of them into full-time employees. Or we can say we can't hire any and lose worker happiness. Well, I guess... See, they cost twice as much. I'll hire one. We'll keep morale. This is a courtesy note to remind you that your new employees have arrived. These were the interns. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. Liberal Party has won election in North America, ousting their opponents from office. Social media creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Post, post, post. There's never been a better time to promote yourself. Get posting. Products launched this month in the Middle East. Social media, total success. South America, business tracking, total success. Okay. And one intern team has handed in their resignation, claiming 20-hour workdays were against the spirit, if not the letter of the law. Note that every time an employee leaves or go on strike, Procter & Gamble gains inefficiency. It's come to the board's attention that the following tasks are of the utmost important and should be undertaken as soon as possible. Launch products. Launch the following project at least 6 times. Business tracking. It can be relaunched in the same nation several times. Okay. The nation of South America has recently taken to our new business tracking tech. It has had such an impact on business that it's caused a boost in the economy. Excellent. See, corporations are good things. Tracking the future of business. Procter & Gamble launches a business tracking service. Productivity up. Business analysts agree. A boon for business and the economy. So let's replace one of our slaves. And before I do research, let's do some product launches. So social media. So post. Never been a better time to... Okay. This is interesting, actually. I'm not quite sure where post would fit. Oh, publicity, obviously. Okay. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of public countries, though. Oh, North Africa should probably do that. As for business tracking, well, we said that it worked really well in South America, so we want novelty and presumably some level of like material wealth or something like that. So South Africa isn't perfect, but it's better than most. Who else? Wait a minute, was this right? New business era. Sorry, it wasn't. It was automation is the way to do business. Okay, so it should be, yeah, material wealth, I think, is the driver. So in theory, North America would be good for this. And research. Still in the 90s, so I'm okay with that. Gene stims. Okay. So either yeah, not really a chance of. I kind of feel like I should be moving towards a. I feel like I should be moving towards something that will sort of give me. It'll be income producing. So a 22% chance on business tracking doesn't excite me that much. AI. Research AI workers, better at research than human workers, but worse at spin. Oh, that's really interesting. So I can actually free up some of my human resources to... I like that idea a lot. 20 turns, though. Well, better than nothing. I mean, we're making some progress on it. It's not like I need more monetization strategies. So... nope, because in this game the countries have sort of glommed together in these large unwieldy superstates. This tutorial will teach you about the tagging interface. This is a useful way to keep track of spin angles. It can be difficult to remember which spin angles go with which cultural values. To help with this, you can use the tagging system. Go to the research window, click on a research project, and mouse over a spin angle. Alright, so social media. Right-click the spin angle to bring up the tagging interface. You can now tag the spin angle by left-clicking on any of these cultural tags. Values can be tagged strongly or weakly. This might be helpful if, for example, you suspect what cultural values work well with the angle but aren't sure. Clicking anywhere else will close the tagging interface. Tagging has no effect on gameplay. It is simply a useful feature to help you remember which tags go with which values. The tagging interface also allows you to perform focus tests. To see how, open the tagging interface again. From here, you can click the focus test button to perform a focus test. This will spend one class connection and reveal which cultures are affected by the spin slogan. Perform a focus test now. Okay, let's just take a look. Never alone. New business era. Not obvious to me which one this is, so I think I'll focus test quality sleep. The tagging interface now displays the cultural values affected by the spin slogan. Focus tests are a useful tool, but will quickly deplete your class connections if overused. Only use them when necessary. Tutorial complete. Reward 1 class connection. Alright, well, we got that taken care of. So I think we'll keep the eggheads working on social media. Actually, let's read our mail before we do anything else. It's a courtesy note to remind you that the new employees have arrived. Social media creative team thought of a new spin angle. Never alone. We're never alone. We're our friends, our family, our lovers. Help us bring you together. Following projects have been completed. Gene stems. Products launched this month. North Africa. Total success for social media. And a disastrous business tracking. Interesting. So material wealth was not what we needed for Oh, maybe, you know what? It's possibly because of the privacy. But you know what? Convenience and novelty. Okay. So, I don't think I have any other angles for these. I'm not quite sure. I don't really think there's anything here that will work with North America. Who hasn't been touched by our social media? Okay. I mean, the novelty's okay here, but it's probably the best option I've got. Oh no, convenience. Have a good night, El Canoe. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so we've done Gene Sims, social media, and then business tracking. So I need convenience and novelty, though, so... oh. Well... It's not ideal, but we should make some money off of it. We've got some leftover researchers, so let's see what we can throw them into. So we'll get one last category for social media. I think probably the answer here is... I think I'm willing to risk it on social media. As long as this keeps at 2. Okay. So I think business tracking. It's a coin toss. Yeah, fortune favors the bold. I forgot it. Our scientists have identified a new line of research. Pursuing it would yield research gains, but it would put a strain on the company. Gain 5 to 15 research points assigned to a random project, and gain 5 in efficiency, or don't take the risk. Always take the risk. Republican Party in Russia has successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for collectivism. The following nations have undergone minor cultural shifts. We have received reports of racially motivated hate crimes sweeping Asia. This suggests the nation's culture is moving towards xenophobia. Social media creative team has thought of a new spin angle. One world. The people of the world are complex, different, and beautiful. Welcome to the one place they all hang out. They assure us they have, however, exhausted all creative possibilities. The business tracking creative team thought of a new spin angle. Peace of mind. We all want peace of mind, some security in case of unexpected problems. We want to know our business is safe, our resources are secure, and our employees are trustworthy. We can help keep that locked down. Okay, so all good matches for South Africa, South America, and Europe. Dear Council Representative, this is an automated message from Remind, helping you to remember important personal tasks and goals. You requested to be reminded of the following goal: becoming immortal. It's only a matter of time until my body shuts down for good, and I, for one, have no intention of dying like a regular schmuck. You must be a big shot CEO by now, so do some research in gene splicing and figure this out. Graduates can be a good source of future connections. Investing in a sponsorship program now may result in some connections down the line. So we can sponsor security programs, low-income graduates at prestigious colleges, Sponsor hackathons for cyber connections. Can't afford. Okay, well, we can definitely afford it. So we want cyber, unknown. No, actually, sorry. Yes, we will do it at prestigious colleges for the 3 to 6 social, because that is the one that I seem to have a use for right now. Gene stim craze sweeps South America. 43% of people surveyed now stay awake all night partying or working. Sleep is for the weak. All right. Peace of mind. Well, peace. Individual, collective, security, freedom, spirituality. Yeah. I guess we'll do a Never Been Easier. It's not the strongest choice we've made, that's for sure. South America loves our products. I'm doing this the wrong way. I should actually be picking these based on the characteristics. So South Africa seems like a good one for business tracking. Who else needs security? The motherland. Okay. And they also have high material wealth, so I'm going to assume that that's going to appeal as well. So we need one last place to find gene stems. We only have quality as a trait, so maybe Australia. That seems our best bet. Yeah. Okay, let's move around our workforce, or not our workforce, okay, so we've got a bunch of free bodies. I think I'll throw a bunch of interns at AI. Nope. Oh, hang on. Okay. So it's only 4 there. Okay, good to know. Let's put a bunch of interns in a room to see if they can come up with something clever. And how about gene stems? Oh yeah, those are good odds. Let's go for the 85. We'll throw another one into business tracking. So this will give us a little more diversity. What I probably should be doing is actually putting some effort into meta friendship, but I sort of like this idea of unlocking a few more spins. I need to keep an eye on things because I'm still not at my initial my initial value for money, but thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. The Success Party in North America have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for freedom. The following nations have undergone major cultural shifts. The glut of self-made celebrities and believe-in-yourself media content has caused North Africa to become more individualistic. Geneticism's creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Sleep is peace. The modern world doesn't respect sleep, but it's been part of us since time immemorial. A mysterious state where we recharge and touch our true selves. And now the sacred activity is under attack from alarm clocks, schedules, jet lag. Let us restore balance to your life. All right, that has got to be a spiritual one. North America, unsuccessful. Russia, very successful. And Oceania, minimally successful. Not a great term for, not a great time for making money. And a delay on business tracking. This is due to the level of inefficiency here at Procter & Gamble. Interesting. Okay, so I think if we go... The higher your inefficiency, the greater the chance your projects will be delayed. The more workers you have, the faster it rises. It's also raised by employees leaving your company. So you can spend 2.89 million and 3 cyber connections to lower it by 10%. Seems like not a bad idea. So obviously I'm not leaving anything on the table. It's above 10. And cyber was my highest trait. So probably best to nip that thing in the bud. What am I going to do product-wise? All right, so I'm just not breaking into... I am not breaking into North America at all. Spiritual, collective, multicultural. Oh, spirituality. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our gene stems. Who doesn't have social media? Asia does not have social media. So what's our best bet here? That's okay. I think, well, let's try for a pure multicultural play. This will give me a little, depending on the success of this will give me a little, this will give me a little bit of information in terms of the nature of the country. So we did social media, we did a gene stems, I think. Yeah, so business tracking. What are our messages? We've got convenience and novelty, and we've got security. Well, let's try this in Australia. And of course, let's consider our research. Okay, can't skimp out on AI research. I think we'll just keep the status quo. So we've got 24 workers right now. I think there is some sense in moving this up to 30. We won't have designer organs, which is fairly important. But I think moving our workforce up to... So we'll even it out on the interns. And yeah, you know what? So the challenge here, of course, is that I'm paying too much in terms of employees. Let's take a look at the finances. So we're making 83 in sales. Oh, but we're only paying 20K in wages, so it's not that bad. Yeah. And we're ending the term above what we started at, so. Your college sponsorship program has borne fruit and resulted in new connections. Gain 3 to 6 class connections. Nice. Let's cheat and get another insight. Publicity and wealth. I don't know why I picked that one. It's obvious. Courtesy note to remind you that your new employees have arrived. Those are the interns. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. Republican Party in Russia has successfully rebranded their message. They stand for security. Success Party of North America have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for material wealth. The Liberty Party in South America has successfully rebranded their message and stand for quality. Following nations have undergone minor cultural shifts. The series of holo shows about marketing yourself online, maximizing your reach, extending your network, etc. has caused the people of Russia to think about publicity more enthusiastically. A vocal group of reactionary celebrities in the Middle East, most over the age of 60, have called for a return to the good old days. This has led to an increase in traditionalism. A significant portion of South Africa's population has become accustomed to the belief that material possessions such as houses, cars, and tech products are the surest way to happiness and vital for social status. As a result, the culture is trending towards material wealth. A charismatic religious leader in South America has caused a resurgence in the faith's popularity, resulting in a renewed interest in spirituality and the metaphysical. So I think what's happening here with these cultural shifts, my base for my products in South America seems to be eroding a little bit. but we'll see what we can do with that. The GeneStem's creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Take your time. We all know how busy the modern life is. It can be hard to fit it all in. Work, sleep, kids. Free time is nowhere to be seen. With these stems, you'll have more time than ever. The following projects have been completed. AI version 1. Products launched this month. Asia, social media, total success. Europe, GeneStems, very successful. And Oceania, business tracking was somewhat successful. One project has been delayed, business tracking. This is due to the level of inefficiency here at Procter & Gamble. Jesus, didn't I just deal with this? You never know when inspiration will strike. I was in the holobath when I had an idea about how to market one of our products. I guess I should give it to you, since all my ideas count as my employer's intellectual property by law. Excellent. Forward me to your idea. One new spin angle for a random research project. So one of the colleges in Jacksonville is freaking out because this year alone they have had 2 Nazi flashers, several muggings, and a gun scare. I'm guessing that's where you go to college, Mingo Duck? All right. All in the workplace. Procter & Gamble unleashes AI workers. Is this the future of work? Watch. Automation, the promise of freedom or the achievement of human irrelevance? Yes. Okay, I think I'm gonna be a little silly, and I'm gonna clear out the group. We probably need to get some more products in the pipeline, so we'll throw an AI in there. Let's get some dedicated researchers. Okay, so I'll take one turn. How many more bodies can we throw at research? Let's say all the interns on business tracking. I think we can even these odds out a little bit. Oops. Yeah, I mean, it's a coin toss. It's not great. I can live with that, though. I wonder if we can hire new AI. Ooh, we can. I keep forgetting if I right-click, I'm going to be able to fill up that bar, but it's not that hard to just keep clicking. The business tracking creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Time to shine. You know you could be a good business person. You've got guts, drive, vision, but it can be hard managing your business. We can help you out, which will give you the chance to shine and achieve your true potential. Okay, let's just review. Okay, so North America, we really don't have any successful product launches. We're okay in South America. I mean, obviously, I think it decreases over time. Let's see, the amount of income you receive from the product this turn after tax. This is determined by the labor cost of the project times how successfully it launched, and it is modified by the prosperity of the this is important too. So you can have high tax rates in a highly prosperous nation, and you can still make more money. So that gives me a great reason to get in on in North America. Okay, well, let's see the most prosperous. Okay, North Africa, we really need to get to work. So, yeah, unsurprisingly, that's security oriented. I say unsurprising, but I still spent the point on it. I have a feeling that with material wealth, I don't know, time to shine, that's probably like material wealth and publicity. I think that's probably appropriate for North Africa. South Africa is pretty prosperous too, so let's see what we can do about that. Convenience. Not bad. Let's see if we can do something else. Take your time is the best I've got there. Yeah, you know what? This should work. So we did one business track. Oh, we did 2 business trackings. My bad. Do we have anybody who's not using our social media yet? Russia. All right. I think convenience is probably the angle we want to take here. And I guess I need to find a place for my gene stems, so... Do we have anybody who's in search of quality? Well, Australia was, but they didn't seem to like that. I feel like there was a pure convenience play somewhere. We all know how busy modern life is. It can be hard to fit it all in. Work, sleep, kids. Free time is nowhere to be seen. So, individualism, collectivism, security, freedom, spirituality, material wealth, privacy, publicity, quality, convenience, tradition, novelty, xenophobia, multiculturalism, prosperity, chaos. Well, prosperity, chaos, I think, is just going to tell us how much we make off of it. I kind of feel like that's a convenience thing, but whatever. Let's try it. Did I assign my bodies? Yes, I did. This tutorial explains how sales and profits are calculated and what might affect them. Open the research window, please. Some projects need more research than others. For example, social media needs 10 worker hours to research, but Auto Poster needs 20. The number of worker hours needed is shown as the labor cost. The more time it takes to research a technology, the more valuable the technology. So tech that takes a long time to research will make a lot of money. One that is easy to research will net you less money. Now select any nation. Each nation has a prosperity chaos slider. This shows how prosperous a nation is and how close it is to total anarchy. The more prosperous a nation is, the more money your tech will make there. Tech launched in a maximum prosperity nation will make twice as much income as those launched in near chaos nations. Finally, the better your spin angle matches the nation's culture, the better it will sell, and the more money you will earn from that nation per turn. You can see how well your tech is launched in the marketing window. Open it now. On this screen, you can see a project. You can click a project to see how successfully you have launched it worldwide. A greener color means a successful launch. A redder color means unsuccessful. So gene stems, we have a pretty mixed track record. Business tracking, not as good as I would have imagined. Social media, we're pretty good at. Tutorial complete. Reward $1 million. Are people that resistant to reading the tutorial that they need to be rewarded? All right, bunch of messages. We, the board, happily recognize the success of your mission, launch products, and we are pleased to report that you received the following reward. Gain 6% public opinion. Courtesy note to remind you that new employees have arrived. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. Republican Party in Russia has successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for material wealth. The Liberty Party in South America has successfully rebranded their message and now stand for prosperity. GeneStim's creative team has thought of a new spin angle. The new way to be, nobody keeps their birth genome anymore. That is so 2040. Have a good night, Mingo Duck. The following projects have been completed. Meta Friendship. Products launched this month in North America. Business tracking was unsuccessful. GeneStim's minimally successful. Very successful social media. South America, somewhat successful for business tracking. I am not doing a good job. One intern team has handed in their resignation, complaining that they had eaten nothing but cat food for 2 weeks straight. Note that every time an employee leaves or goes on strike, Procter & Gamble gains inefficiency. Send in the next clone. Delay on business tracking due to the level of inefficiency at Procter & Gamble. Yeah. A new rival has arrived on the scene, Paradigm, a tech company founded several years ago, which has been growing rapidly since then. We should keep an eye on them or they may eclipse us down the line. Your rival currently has 0 power. If it reaches 100%, they will take over your company. Your rival is currently 0% vulnerable. If you are able to push this to 100% or stage a hostile takeover, Paradigm will become a subsidiary of Procter & Gamble. Hello, Kaylee Cakes. How are you doing? Thank you for notifying me. New rival Paradigm. Your rival gains 5%. No! I won't do it. I am well, Kaylee Cakes. This is Spinnortality. Actually, I'm going to give... Spinnortality. Spinnortality. This is a game that's in Kickstarter. I'm actually going to take a quick minute here and do the sales pitch. So it's currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. It's a project they love, but as is the way... So a little bit of a background. I'm not... Let me just be clear in terms of how I'm talking about it. I am not meaning to imply that this is not a successful Kickstarter. It's just started. It got the project we love, and it is over a third of the way to its funding goal. But it is also in the nature of Kickstarters to have a strong start and then sort of slow down, and then it's like really nerve-wracking up until the very end. So one of the reasons, there's 2 reasons why I'm doing this tonight. One, I have not had a chance to put this thing through its paces yet. So I wanted to, I wanted to do that first of all. And as it turns out, streaming time is a really great time to do gaming. And then the next thing was I wanted an opportunity to show it to some people who maybe hadn't heard of it, because I can tweet about it. I did tweet about it once before, but I have noticed that usually when I tweet about something, if I really want to have an impact in terms of what people will get, it's usually going to have to be like constant updates. So like I really enjoyed Cultist Simulator. I loved playing that game on stream. I loved sort of the little moments that came up playing that game. And it was really easy for me with all of those updates to just kind of keep pushing them out. But I also need to appreciate, like, if I keep doing that, then that sort of just becomes numbing in and of itself. So I do encourage you guys to check out the Kickstarter. You can play the game I'm playing right now if you go to itch.io, Spinnortality. Alternatively, you can just click that Kickstarter link. You'll get to hear the game developer describe it in his own words, James Patton, who I believe is from Austria. There'll be a write-up in terms of what the goals of the project are. It'll also have a link to this demo that I'm playing. But yeah, I'm having a reasonably good time of it so far. I notice I'm sort of interested in the fact that it seems like it's a little bit of a slow burn in terms of all the things available. So like if you think of all the windows that we've gone through, we've seen our our corporation screen. I don't know if it ever actually told us how to efficiency restructure, but I mean, I don't think it needs to handhold you for everything, right? Like clearly if you click on or if you mouse over something, it's going to describe it. So for instance, business school, build or upgrade this in-house facility to increase your connections by 0.333. I mean, so that's tempting because that'll just give me an opportunity to do more focus groups. I have a feeling that now that I have a rival, military will be useful. So research has been sort of the first screen and one of the most important. We've also been working on workforce because, of course, that is how we will be able to do all these wonderful inventions. Finance was only recently introduced, I think. Oh, we have done goals. Interesting. Okay, so I actually maybe should take a quick look at these medium-term goals. I mean, in reality, the profit that I'm making is only 50 a turn, and then I'm also investing a lot of that into project launches. And there's 2 other ones. Okay, well, let's take a quick look at what we've got here. So we can have a Black Ops division, found a top-secret Black Ops subsidiary dedicated to corporate and political espionage. That'll cost me 5 military, 3 society, and 3 cyber. Doesn't cost anything to maintain. We can't found the NGO, but found an NGO, non-governmental organization, that allows you to funnel capital into charity projects, improving public opinion of your company. We can't do that because we don't have enough society. Corporation infrastructure, lay the groundwork for a new kind of state, run like a nation but owned and operated like a publicly traded company. This could be the future of human governance. No politicians or citizens, only stakeholders. Although you found corporations in anarchic nations. Oh, wow. So we find some place that's falling apart. We step in as the great corporate liberators. Man, that's a fun idea. All right, let's take a quick look. Oh my God, there's so much. I am tempted for the Black Ops division because that's just going to give me some more options down the road in terms of this rival. So let's sync the 20 inside of it. Oh my God, we got to put people into it. Okay. I got 4 bodies I can assign to other research. I haven't even sold Meta Friendship yet. Let's throw some bodies into business. Oh, wow. I overinvested there. Again, we'll just kind of clear out our research goals. Also, I have a feeling my AI is idle. So this is a tricky question. If I just wanted to go for pure money, actually, here's an interesting. I'm just going to get my calculator out. So I say posting tips, 16.2 divided by 12 labor, 1.35. And then if I compare that to social optimizer, 5.10 divided by 26. Okay, I think these all wind out to be the same. It looked like it, but 29.7 divided by 22. Yeah. I've never been good at like mentally calculating things, so I always second guess myself. I'm like, yeah, that looks about right, but it absolutely is that. Okay. Because it's all the same, I'm going to, because I have sort of minimal resources, I'm just going to let the AI chug away at posting tips. What would be ideal? I think what I'm just going to keep doing is investing a bunch of money into AI. It's sort of interesting that it doesn't show you what they... Oh, yes, it does. Okay. So wages are the same. So a simple AI costs as much as an employee, but it has 2.5 times the research output. So what I think I'm going to do, these eventually 30, they're going to be sort of my floater group. Right now they're going to be focusing on sort of improvements on my product lines. And eventually what I'm going to do is I want to have like one core sort of AI research group. So your week can use a calculator for everything, though. You can math pretty well. Jesse Quill, I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to make it because I know you are not feeling 100%. Thank you so much for stopping by. And thank you very much for the host. How are you doing, my friend? Yeah, I cannot break into the North American market to save my life. Okay. No more expensive meats. Expensive and useless meat is a thing of the past. Now you only need to spend money on friends that are likely to be a good return on investment. Oh, that has got to be material wealth. We always have success in South America. Oh, but they're not wealthy anymore. Or maybe they were never wealthy. What was the other approach? Okay. Definitely not. Oh yeah, okay, so Gene Stims, whoever wants novelty. Nope, but they're already there. No novelty seekers? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jess. If you guys don't know Jess, and this is usually the point people new to the cast start complaining, and you can keep complaining all you want, because I'm going to tell you about a wonderful friend of mine, Jessie Quill. Jess is I'm not quite sure. I know she's a little interested in this game, so hopefully I'll do a good job showing it off. But Jess is actually a very talented caster in her own right. Obviously, she's my mod. She's my mod for a very special reason. She understands Twitch very well, and she's been one of the most encouraging people in terms of the broadcast, right down to what games I play, sort of the style in which I present certain things. She did. I wonder if xenophobia... We'll try that. She has put a lot of effort into this cast and me personally, and I know I spend a lot of time. I kind of spend a lot of time shouting her out, but the main reason for that is she is one of the best sort of, how do I put it, returns on investment for streaming that I really can recommend. She has got a really unique take. She's got a background in psychology, a degree in psychology from Notre Dame. And she brings that to a lot of the things that she streams, whether it's Observer, whether it's Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. She really does a wonderful job of bringing a fresh take to the games that she plays, and she has a very great sort of love and investment in terms of her cast. So I think... if you guys have not checked out her stuff, I do strongly recommend seeing what you can do. Just again, even if you just follow and see if the times match up. She is definitely one of my go-to streams. There have been many times where I've wanted to do other things, but as soon as she goes online, I feel compelled to stop by. She's a very dear friend and a very talented caster who I will certainly never get tired of shouting out, even if she's feeling a little under the weather. And actually, it's also worth mentioning that Kaylee Cakes didn't really get a great shout out. She is back to casting as well, and it is a great time to be watching her because she has been doing some Fortnite. She does still come back to DayZ, but she's a really nice caster, and she's had some time away. This is actually one of the things that's most important. I'm going to put the game on hold for a little bit just so I can get this out of the way, because I read a New Yorker article on Twitch streaming, and so the hours that people put in to make the dream happen, to turn that into a career. And there are a few people who have taken a step back from Twitch, and I've had a tremendous amount of respect for them. These are people who've actually been quite successful on the platform. So for instance, Kitch22 and Tuesday Gray, after achieving partnership, both took some time away from the broadcast. Metamancer, again, another person who achieved partner and is taking time away from casting because there are other things in life. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind, because just like there is crunch in the games industry, which is something that I've only ever really known about from reading about it, I think there is a strong equivalent on the streamer side. And I have my own personal experience of this from when I was working in film and having to do 16 or 18-hour days on bigger shows. And the money is really good on those days. I mean, the overtime is fantastic, and that's part of the union negotiations. But that is not a good way to live your life. And so one of the reasons why I love shouting out people like Kaylee is because they are somebody who has, again, a talent for casting. She's an absolute sweetheart, and I think you guys will have a lot of fun, especially if you like the PUBG or Fortnite style games. But she's somebody who has got other things going on in life and is not afraid to take the time away. I could say the same of Jessie Quill, because obviously she's had some time away from her cast as well. And as much as I regret not having something myself to see, I know that is very healthy and a very important thing for people to do. And one of the things I prefer shouting people out because I think you guys will enjoy them. And I know I can't have a 100% recommendation rate, but I can at least give you some of the reasons in terms of why I think they're particularly special casters. But another reason why I like shouting out people like Jesse Quill and Kaylee Cakes are that they recognize the importance of a life other than streaming. You know, your stream is not going to be very good if you don't cultivate other interests. And so in the case of these two wonderful women, I can make a very strong recommendation, both for their talent, but also for the fact that they have, you know, they've done other things. And it's why I also think it's important to follow them, because if you can't, like maybe some of your favorite sort of full-time broadcasters, if you can't rely on them being there sort of 24 hours a day, I think it's important to do the follow and you know, do the and get the opportunity to see them when you can. I remember, I think it was in the GOG channel. I don't know quite what happened there. I mean, I'm hoping at some point I get called back. I've tried, but haven't been back on the GOG channel. But I remember I was visiting. It wasn't when I was streaming, and I think it was Kilgore probably gave me a really nice shout out, and some guy said something to the effect of, it was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll follow you when you're online, Lex. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, come on, that is the laziest possible, you know, I want to take credit for following you, but I'm not actually going to follow you line. I can live without people, you know, I can live without people, you know, there's plenty of people who aren't watching my cast right now. I think I can get over that. But, you know, there's no need to say something that dumb. Anyways. No, Kaylee Cakes. I think that is the exact level of shout out that you need. Having other interests allow you to have things to speak about in your chat outside of streaming. Yes. By the way, guys, the frame drops, have those gotten any better, or am I a stuttering moron? Not that these are mutually exclusive, but I think you know what I mean. Oh, also, hopefully Kaylee Cakes one day will be streaming the Beginner's Guide, so that's another great reason to watch her. Yeah, well, this is the funny thing, too. I know there's a lot of people who talk about their favorite casters and that, and you know my tendency is not to speak ill directly of casters, because I just think, you know, it is better to build up the things that you like. But it's really funny, the number of people who want to cultivate that reputation and have done nothing for it. Like, I can definitely... Jess and I know this, and I'm never going to say anything other than talking with Jess about it, but there's definitely some people who have tried to take on the trappings of, you know, a particular, you know, attitude or a particular association. And in some cases, they've just kind of tried to leech off of Jess's reputation. But, I mean, I don't know. I think it's easy to spot a phony. And if not, I mean, it's almost kind of like dating, right? A guy will say anything to get the attention of a woman, and if they get together and they're happy, then that's no business of mine to say otherwise. Like, but I don't know. I've sat in enough coffee shops on absolutely horrible dates to know whether or not somebody is completely lying. So, the analogy works for me on Twitch. Anyways, you download the Beginner's Guide. Excellent. Obviously, Kaylee, that's yours to play. Like, if you will get more enjoyment playing it on your own, I would encourage you to do that. But clearly, if you want to stream it, I would be very encouraged to. I'd be really happy to see it. So, anyway, sorry guys. I am trying to think a little bit about. I feel like this is a convenience thing. Let's try it. Also, I think I need to start doing some so any place that doesn't have social media, I need to launch it. For instance, I need to have a successful launch in North America for this stuff. So See, these all suck for them, though. What's the one that sucks the least? So One World is not going to appeal to xenophobes. They don't like publicity. They're not collectivist. So the best is Novelty, which is like a half measure. Whatever, screw it, we'll do it. Can I make a justification for, well, if this is Novelty, then I'll go for it. It's not going to be great, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, so quality is not my best bet. Sleep is peace. Definitely not spiritual. So it's either Novelty in a traditional country or Take Your Time. We'll try it just for lack of a better option, but I think we are launching things around the globe. Really cool. You met your fair of tail-fanning coffee shop peacocks quoting from books they've never read about things they've taken out of context, talking about music no one has ever heard of, or trying desperately to get into whatever woman's bed who happens by. Well, I think one of the biggest ones for me is I'm a bit of a jerk in that I kind of like to, I don't know, I really like sitting beside really horrible dates. You know what, let's do Take Your Time. Let's see how this works. Now we are really launching worldwide. I don't know, I really enjoy like just seeing stuff crash and burn, which is probably horrible of me, but all right. Do we make new rival? A new rival has arrived on the scene. Oh yeah, thank you for notifying me. Paradigm make a wave. Paradigm has reached a tipping point, is blowing past the opposition. Rumors are that they seek to expand through takeovers. Yeah, well, actually, Eyes of Sin, that's one of the reasons why I'm reluctant to go to meetups, because I've heard so much about them, and I don't really like meeting people like that, so. Oh, do I ever, Kaylee Cakes. This tutorial explains the espionage screen and Black Ops. Open the espionage screen now. This is a list of all Black Ops or secret espionage projects which you can run. Let's start with a simple one. Click Steal Research, the first project. This project will get you free research points. Now you can spend connections to make the project more likely to succeed. I have given you 5 class connections. Spend the class connections on this project. 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see this project has a chance to succeed and a chance to be discovered. Both of these go up the more favors you spend. You can choose. I actually really like that idea. So obviously the more people you bring in on a conspiracy, the more likely there's going to be a breach. So you can choose whether this project will run for 2, 4, or 6 turns, but the faster the project, the lower the chance of success. I wonder if the longer the time, if it also increases the... No, it does not. Okay. If we want the project to end quickly, so select 2 turns. Click here to begin the Black Op. I'm curious, so it goes up by 7. Neat. So it also seems like, so cyber and social are the better ways of making this succeed, whereas military doesn't actually have any influence on, or it doesn't have the same influence. I like that a lot. Man, I was gonna say, this is definitely not the best way to make a good impression with everybody. It's like, strangers are just another enemy I haven't met. Alright, end the turn twice so the project can complete. Don't tell me what to do. Right, one step closer to a brighter future. We have now fully implemented our corporate agenda of a world with a Black Ops division. The future is here, and we are making it. Courtesy note to remind you that the new employees have arrived. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. The Republican Party in Russia has successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for privacy. The National Party has won the election in Russia, ousting their opponents from office. Workers' Party of Oceania have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for collectivism. The Liberty Party in South America have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for prosperity. I kind of like the story that's implied by this, is that the nationalists win, and so the Republicans adjust their policy stances in response to the fact that they were voted out by the electorate. So, if you want to take, if you say the National Party is like a super nationalist group, which is kind of what seems to be happening in Russia right now, it's kind of like, this authoritarian government, we're gonna stand up to them, we're gonna be for strong encryption and to keep you from having your emails read and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm sure this is all random. Well, that's actually not necessarily true. There's definitely some cases where there are different things that sort of feed into the, like if you look at the prophets, there's definitely sort of systems that feed into each other. But I always like little emergent stories that come up like that. Following nations have undergone major cultural shifts. The number of homeless LGBTQ plus youth in Europe has spiked recently. It seems that parents are more likely to disown their children if they identify as gay, queer, bi, trans, etc. This indicates an uptick in xenophobia within the culture. Dozens of articles, series, and holovids have been circulating online, all discussing the human race's precarious future. This has caused the people of North America to think pessimistically about the future and become more focused on safety and security. I might have some products to help with that. The business tracking creative team have thought of a new spin angle. Be part of something. Businesses aren't islands. We're all part of something bigger. Our families, our communities, our planet. Better efficiency means giving more to that wider community. Products launched this month. North Africa, total success of Meta Friendship. North America, unsuccessful social media. They just don't like social media in North America. Middle East hated business tracking. Russia liked the gene stims. Asia did not like the gene stims. South Africa really liked Meta Friendship. South America sort of liked Meta Friendship. Europe hated Meta Friendship. And Oceania loved my social media. So on net, I think we're in okay. 2 intern teams have handed in their resignation, explaining that while they are not technically employees, they are, in real terms, earning less than half the minimum wage. Note that every time an employee leaves or goes on strike, Procter & Gamble gains in efficiency. New clones. It's come to the board's attention that the following task is of the utmost importance and should be undertaken as soon as possible. Develop an NGO. Oh, for God's sake. I just spent those points. Hiring opportunity. We received a job application from skilled and appropriate candidate. We think they would be a good fit for our company vision. They are willing to start immediately. They start work tomorrow. All right. So research, AI is going to keep plugging away at research. I only need 1 turn. So what am I going to do next? I think, again, because I don't have a lot of opportunities, I am sort of using a lot of my manpower for sort of these improvements. I'm going to put it into sort of the less expensive stuff. 78, yeah, I can work with that. Actually, I have a lot of people available, but I need to. Well, it's the best chance, so. So this will free up two teams if we get our improvements. I'm going to do another thing as well. I'm actually going to upgrade our business school, and this is so we can. This is basically so we can start earning some more class connections. The idea here is that I want to start doing some more focus groups. All right, let's. What can we do about meta friendship? Nothing. Wealth. This will be like the first successful thing that I launch in North America. Okay. So I want to look for more wealth. Actually, you know what would be really interesting in this game is if there was a way to if you could view the globe based on its traits. So you could like select for wealth rather than having to click on the individual countries. I mean, that's easier said than done. Like, as a player, it's always, you know, I hate being the kind of guy who's like, oh, multiplayer is easy to implement. But I think I'm actually, you know what? I've been spoiled by Crusader Kings is what that really means. I've grown accustomed to being able to, you know, to break down a map by any particular dimension that I'm interested in. Novelty seems most likely. So this didn't work at all. Like we'll let it be. I also said I was gonna hire more AI. Hello, Unknown Brigade. This is Spinnortality. So one of the reasons I'm streaming this right now, it's a game that's out on Kickstarter. It's 1/3 of the way to being funded. It's, I think it's got 22 days left to go. Had a very strong start, but as is the nature of a lot of Kickstarters, they tend to lose a bit of momentum. And so I was on the fence about backing it. Like what my experience has been is once upon a time it was, okay, does it look well polished? Does it seem like my sort of thing? Yes. Okay. Back it. And then, some things didn't turn out. So, okay, let me be a little more cautious. Let's see some evidence that they're able to pull off the project, let's say. And then I'm still hopeful for this project, but here's a good example. The System Shock remake. They had a demo that was made in Unity. It looked very good. It seemed like a fairly faithful reproduction of System Shock without sort of slavishly adhering to it. So again, it's accepting the fact that there's maybe been some development in terms of gaming best practices while still retaining the things that made System Shock interesting. And they decided like 1 year into the project to switch to the Unreal Engine. And Project Phoenix did that. Project Phoenix is years late. They're making another game because they ran out of money. And I feel very bad for the designer because people have been very cruel to him in the comments. And I understand the frustration, but these are people. It's very important to remember that. And it's usually people who are pursuing a dream. When they're on Kickstarter. Now that doesn't mean that you get away with anything or that you shouldn't be held to account, but there's really no reason to sort of speak the way that people have been to the author. So for this one, one of the problems that I've run into is that now I can't even rely on a demo anymore because somebody could wake up one day and say, oh yeah, you know what, we really need the Unreal Engine for this. Now, obviously a game like Spinnortality, it's a strategy game. It doesn't really, I don't really see the argument for oh, this port's better to consoles or, better graphical fidelity. We want you to be able to see the AI that you're building or something like that. So I think that's less of a risk, but I've just been trying to be a little more cautious, and more importantly, I like supporting things like this. This seemed like my kind of project. So I thought originally I was going to try the demo and then stream it if I liked it, but I didn't have time to do the demo at all. So I decided that I would do the tutorial and try this game myself. I'm sufficiently interested. I know I've been looking at my viewers for the last little while. I've dropped a few because I've not been playing the game. I've been chatting with people a little bit more. But it's sort of a way that I can serve those two masters, which is number one, even if I didn't like this game, I think people would have an opportunity to decide whether or not they wanted to try it themselves. This demo is available on itch.io, and I would encourage you to click on that Kickstarter link to see the author speak about the game in their own words. And of course, you can get the demo link from there. But more importantly too, like, it's finally, streaming time is an opportunity for me to play some games. So obviously, yeah, I would like to play Stellaris. We're in an interesting place in Stellaris. But this Kickstarter is not going to be around forever, and I wanted an opportunity to, play the game myself and, give people a chance to ask questions or see the experience. If you are interested in backing this game, I believe you will get the game at the €10 pledge level. But it is worth mentioning, even if you don't necessarily want to get the game, but this is something that maybe you think you would like to see somebody stream, or you just want to be nice and support somebody and have their project become a reality well, the project's already a reality. But, have them hit that goal, just in time for Christmas, because that's a feel-good story. Even if you donate €1, these things help, and these projects don't happen without people backing them. So it's a little bit like what I talked about in the blog post, right? Which is that I value variety. I like interesting takes. I like interesting ideas in games. I like new things. I like people, doing their own take or covering a topic that I don't think has been, covered very well. And so, rather than kind of go deep with like a $70 game, I'm a little more comfortable buying, $7, $10 games and getting some diversity that way. So, all of that's to say is that, if you are like me, if you like smaller things, or if you like, games like this, now is a great chance to show more of them. I mean, obviously, if people don't support them, that's a signal saying that, there just isn't an audience for this, and people will spend their time making other things. But I don't know. I definitely think there's a place in gaming for these, and even if there's a little bit that I can do to help this game find its audience, I'm happy to do so, because I'm certainly having a good time playing it. All right, sorry. Let me catch up. Blassie, good to see you. This is a courtesy note to remind you that the new employees have arrived. That's the intern. Thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. Republican Party in Russia has successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for convenience. Liberty Party has won the election in Oceania, ousting their opponents from office. Justice Party has won election in South Africa, retaining their position of power. Liberty Party in South America has successfully rebranded their message. They stand for prosperity. And the Success Party has won the election in South America, ousting their opponents from office. So that's interesting, actually. So maybe this isn't by chance. It seems that if you get turfed, you go through this period of rebuilding. The following nations have undergone minor cultural shifts. Homologers in Oceania have emphasized the importance of civil liberties and how every citizen's rights should be protected. This has rendered the notion of freedom more popular. Not in my globe. The business tracking creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Efficiency. Stock is money. Management is potential money. Staff are money in human form. Tracking those things better means a healthier bottom line. They assure us they have, however, exhausted all creative possibilities. The GeneStims creative team has thought of a new spin angle. Free of the grind. Get up, work, eat, sleep. Face it, we're all slaves and we can only get a glimpse of the life beyond our cage. GeneStims can free you a little. Give you 4 or 5 hours of leisure time each day to escape that prison. They assure us, however, that they have exhausted all creative possibilities. The following projects have been completed. Posting tips. Products launched this month. Total success for Meta Friendship in North America, Russia, Asia, and GeneStims were minimally successful in South Africa. Still, not a bad round. I feel like so many folks look at the price tag of a game as a way to assign entertainment value or quality, and yet that is certainly not always the case. Absolutely. I mean, I have a better job now than when I started streaming. And I still read the menu right to left, right? But the fact of the matter is that, I hate this game that we've started to play now of like $15. No, more like $7. And like, I know that these things go on sale, and I have a big library of things that I need to catch up on. So do I need Spinnortality? No, right? I have not gotten to all the endings in Sunless Sea. Sunless Skies is still coming out with new content because it's in early access. Cultist Simulator is coming out. I want to play the new Wolfenstein. I still haven't played Wolfenstein The Old Blood. Stellaris I'm going to be playing until I die. Hearts of Iron 4 I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of. There's a new DLC for Crusader Kings 2 which I haven't been able to play yet. Europa Universalis 4 I love playing as the Netherlands. And there's just so many other things that I played. Any one of these games I'd be perfectly happy playing. But again, it's fun to play new things. And the other thing is that in terms of the things that I enjoy streaming, I do like that variety. And I mean, it's also worth mentioning that you guys have been very generous in your own donations to Cast. And so I sometimes feel that, an opportunity to give back is maybe just buy things like when they come out, or to put a little bit to a Kickstarter or something like that. Because it's just a way. It's a way for me to transfer. Like, one of the things I think about the donations are not just, it's like, okay, it's revenues coming in. I mean, I'm still in a negative for doing streaming, but that's fine. It's a hobby, right? Like, if you build a model train set, you usually don't sit down and think about how much you're going to sell the thing for. So what I do think about whenever there's money that comes into the stream is, what's the biggest return on investment for it? So, I could always say, it's like, oh, I'll save up for a big video card, that'll be amazing. But I've got a 980 Ti in this, right? And I mean, I do play some, reasonably sophisticated games, but I've never, usually resource constraints aren't the biggest problem. So yeah, would it be fun for me to get a new one? I mean, yeah, and I can say it's like, oh yeah, and I'll plug it into R and I'll be able to crunch the numbers that much faster. But my delays have actually been internet related, not processing related. So games that give me a chance to talk about things, and games that give me a chance to kind of get into them and sort of scratch under the surface and see what's going on. So for instance, I like the fact that they've sort of modeled this political economy. Well, sorry, you don't need to worry about the economy side. I'm just so used to talking about it. But I like how they've sort of modeled these political dynamics, that an election is a referendum on the governing party. And in this world, the transition from the party defeated to the party sort of rebranded is instantaneous. So, the Liberal Party in Canada was decimated in the election before the last one, just on almost a total wipeout. And yet they achieved a majority government. And part of that is because Justin Trudeau, who's probably responsible for the increase in the number of uhs that I have. There's a lot of nice things to say about Justin Trudeau. I cannot stand his rhetorical style. I don't get it. I do not understand why people listen to him talk. But rhetoric isn't everything. But this is an example of a party which is usually center, and under Trudeau has definitely taken a very left turn. They're sort of eating the NDP's lunch. The NDP is I believe is still a socialist party in Canada. And they, Trudeau sort of moved into their territory and completely occupied it. Historically, the Liberal Party has actually been one that has been doing sort of maybe not austerity measures, but they definitely were cutting social programs to balance the budget in the 90s. And so it's not always been a party that you could associate with, opening the big money hose and just showering. I mean, they're doing it now. But this is an example, right, where the Liberals took several years to sort of go through that transformation and bring in Trudeau in sunny ways. In this game, what it does, it says, okay, the people don't get to say that much during the mandate. However, when they go to the polls, they get to evaluate how the party has behaved. If they've broken promises, they decide whether or not those broken promises are important enough. And if they did a bad job, they get turfed. And if they did a good job, they gain another mandate. And usually that would mean probably an electoral defeat, probably means that the opposition party has to reconsider and align. And this is a good thing. This is why democracy is a desirable state of affairs, because it allows, you know, it's very hard for the world, in the world we live in, like there's this this startup which is trying to get rid of tipping. And what it does is it goes into, it's going to use the Ethereum blockchain. And instead of a tip, you leave a recommendation for the person who served you. And the idea here is that it sort of creates this permanent resume of people's ratings. This sounds like a Black Mirror episode. Sort of this permanent resume in the blockchain of you. And the thing that bothers me, there's a lot of things that bother me about that. But the thing that bothers me the most is it's almost physical manifestation of something that seems to be the way that people are operating on Twitter and different social media, which is to assume that people can't change. You know, if you are a scumbag today, you will forever be a scumbag. If you were a scumbag in the past, you will definitely be a scumbag today. And I just don't think that's true. I think it's sometimes a leading indicator. If I know that somebody has been dishonest in the past, I'm going to perhaps be a little more suspicious. And yet, you know, a perfect example, you know, if Kaylee or Jess or something like that, you know, said to me, it's like, look, you know, I didn't bring this up before, but there's something you should know. And, you know, it turns out that they had something in the past. I associate them with being very kind and very honest and, you know, very forthright people. And so to me, that would be, oh my goodness, how did this person go from somebody who did this, you know, we're going to have a talk kind of thing, to the person who I get to know today? And I think the way that we seem to definitely behave on social media, and I think there's just that certain fact that, you know, obviously we're not interacting with people, but there's definitely a tendency for people to kind of just assume that people are fixed. And I really don't think that's true. And that's probably, it's actually not the tipping thing that, I think it's a little crappy that they're trying to get rid of tips. At least in that way. But the thing that actually bothers me the most is that that's a technology that seems to be founded on the assumption that people can't improve themselves. And it's something I don't believe, as dim of a view as I have of people. Anyways, one intern team has handed in their resignation, complaining that they have eaten nothing but cat food for 2 weeks straight. Well, you know what? I'm just going to put a negative review on their Ethereum. Note that every time an employee leaves or goes on strike, Procter & Gamble gains inefficiency. I have a feeling this is because I'm hiring too many interns. I don't actually need to rehire this because I've already got a surplus of workers. So let's, or like regular workers. Okay. Decisions. Graduates can be a good source of future connections. Investing in sponsorship program now may result in some connections down the line. I do kind of want to improve. I do want to improve my my class connections just so I can get a better idea. I do sort of want to optimize my reach with these different technologies. So I'm pretty okay with where meta friendship is, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to throw interns at it. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm okay with 76%. Okay, I'm a little tempted, so how many can I throw at this? Okay, one turn. I don't even know what Project Frankenstein is. Oh wow, I can afford to. Okay, cool. Research AI workers much better than humans at research, a little better at spin. I am 100% okay with this, and looks like 20 is the cap. Okay. Posting tips, Soul Freer. We all know that social media can be draining. It kills your soul. Now you can have an online presence without undergoing spiritual death. Something tells me that's not going to go over well in materialist North America. I'm going to assume that this is... So I'm going to do one focus test a turn, and sure enough, efficiency, wealth. At least we'll have one good product launch in a prosperous area. This nation laws are too strict for this product to be launched here. This requires social to be at high or lower. Interesting. Now, I think the thing here, so this is what's kind of interesting about the way that this works. You can, and I mean, this is what people normally talk about when you think about sort of, so there's I don't even necessarily disagree with this. I just think it's sometimes a little cartoonish. So, especially when I was in film school, and I tend to have a lot of very progressive friends. I might even be one of those progressive friends. My conservative friends cannot stand me. But my socialist friends, or not even socialist friends, but my progressive friends, let's say, think that I'm just completely lost to the economic world. But there's kind of this thing that says like, oh, well, corporations need to maximize profit, so they're going to do everything, including breaking the law. And if the cost of the fine is less than the profit that you can potentially get from the action, they're going to do that. It's like, I sort of get it, but it also misses the fact that people run companies, and it's very easy to dislike the wealthy, and in a lot of cases they merit that. And on a case-by-case basis, there are some people who really merit the criticism that they receive, and yet I think it's a very cute way to deal with a more complex problem, because you can also turn around and you say, so let's take an example like IBM. You've got IBM, which provided the technical infrastructure to conduct the Holocaust. A horrible stain on that company's history. And IBM has also consistently had hiring practices that predate social rights legislation. They were very content to hire, any color, creed, sexuality, well before it was legislated. And is because that company has almost always had the view that if a rival is going to pass up the opportunity to hire the brightest and best, they'll gladly snap them up. So, it's much like people. Are people saints or are they irredeemable sinners? They're usually neither. But you do the best you can. I mean, again, like the Holocaust thing is really important to remember, right? That is not something you can just say, oh, it was a long time ago. What about all the nice things IBM did? But it's kind of interesting. So, but again, this is a game, right? So you're going to have a certain abstraction. So what is the logic that I'm employing here? Well, I'm saying is like, well, this isn't a very prosperous country. So while I technically could, presumably some way, zero favor with the party in power. So, if I go down to high, spend one favor to start influencing lawmakers. This is basically the process of lobbying, right? And so the question here is, are the returns, estimated income of 16.2 million, are they worth, and then of course I would have to deduct from the 16.2 whatever it would cost me to gain favor with the party in power. In this game where you are clearly playing a malevolent force in the world, this is absolutely the kind of thing that I'm saying. It's like, so, if I'm going to say, well, do I want to buy off the politicians in South America, or do I want to buy off the politicians in South Africa? Well, as it turns out, it seems that it's actually the same amount that I would earn after tax. I wonder if that's by design. But I kind of like that they model decisions that way. Oh, cool. So this is the political breakdown of the country, and I can donate. This is the perfect game for me. Maybe. I mean, my friend Alex pointed out that it's like I could finally embrace my destiny of being, being a greedy corporate overlord. All right, what do we want to do? North Africa is very prosperous, so it's good to launch a new product. Efficiency. Yeah, why not? I forgot if we have any goals. Oh yes, develop an NGO. So I would need more social points for that. We've not had a lot of luck in Australia over certain things. I mean, that would be an okay launch. Can we do anything better with gene stems? I feel like meta friendship would be better. So this is actually an interesting thing too. If you think about so if I was playing this game optimally, what I probably should do is I should go into my research and say, oh, this actually requires high or lower. Maybe I should take a look at sort of the regulatory regimes in these different countries and say, this is, no bueno. Oh yeah, definitely sulfurier here. I need to make sure that that the regulatory environment is actually favorable to my, to my outcomes. All right, we can finally finish our secret project. The Black Ops should have finished by now. Look through the notifications to see what happened. It's a courtesy note to remind you that the new employees have arrived. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. The Republican Party in Russia has successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for prosperity. The Workers' Party in Oceania have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for security. The Success Party in North America have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for convenience. Meta Friendship creative team has thought of a new spin angle. No more unlikables. Hate it when a cool friend turns out to be socialist or a social justice warrior or a closet gay. Now you don't have to. We'll root them out. That is fantastically horrible. I am going to use that spin angle in every possible country I can. And I hope that Procter & Gamble doesn't sue me. Following projects have been completed. Project Frankenstein. And products launched this month. North Africa, business tracking was a total success. Also in North America, business tracking was very successful in Asia. Posting tips was very successful in Europe, and very successful meta friendship in Oceania. Following communique has come into my possession. Needless to say, I have no idea what it means, and do not expect you to either. Classified black market, project completed. Steel research failure. If the Black Ops was successful, you receive some free research for a random project. If not, nothing happened. Go back to your espionage window. Stop telling me what to do! I am back in the espionage. Let's try another project. This time, click Impose Order. This will raise the prosperity in one nation. See, this is a fun idea too. This is the game saying corporations have a profit motive to make sure that a country is doing well, and so that secret corporate army that's coming in and cracking people over the head with batons is doing so for the social good. You might have noticed these icons. They show you how effective each connection type is for each project. I didn't notice those icons, but I did notice a difference in I am an idiot. This game is visually very well laid out. If you mouse over something, it explains it. The icons make sense, but I spend way too much time reading chat and just looking places I shouldn't. So they show how effective each connection type is for each project. Apparently, you cannot cocktail party anarchists to death. For example, in Steel Research, military connections are not very effective, but class and cyber connections are. You could have assigned military connections for the last project, but it was better to use class or cyber. But for Impose Order, military connections are extremely useful and class and cyber connections are useless, so only military connections can be used for this Black Op. Although, I would point out that traditionally, control of the media is fairly important when conducting a coup, and so perhaps cyber might be kind of important. But I mean, obviously you want to have if you look at the way this patterns out, it's not a realism simulator. So only military connections can be used for this Black Op. I've given you 10 military connections. Spend these connections on this project. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am an idiot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This Black Op will raise prosperity in one nation, so you need to choose a nation. Click on a nation now. Well, South America has usually been pretty good for our project, so choose how much time this Black Op will take and then launch it. So coin toss, slightly better than a coin toss, or near certain. Whatever. Good. If the Black Op succeeds, the nation will gain 1 prosperity. As you can see, espionage can be a good way to spend connections and to gain some kind of advantage. For example, Steel Research gains you research, and Influence Media gains you media control. Those things can get you elsewhere, but espionage allows you to get them by spending connections. But some Black Ops do things you can't do elsewhere. For example, Incite Riots lowers prosperity, and Rig Election lets you choose which party wins the next election. One more thing. Look at the bottom of the espionage window. This is a list of all your past Black Ops, whether they succeeded or failed. There's a small chance each turn that one of these could become public knowledge, which would seriously damage your public opinion. Luckily, you can spend connections to lower this chance. Do this now. We'll lower cyber. And that's it. You're now ready to use espionage for your own corporate ends. Tutorial complete. 1 military reward, 1 military class, and cyber connection. What a nice game. We're going to use this to research our... So I think business tracking makes the most sense to do the... we're going to do 2 this time. The reason why I say it makes the most sense to do business tracking is because it has the highest return. So obviously our ability to target it properly is... Oh, excellent. We're actually going to be able to clear this out. So of course the nice thing here is that it's one of our most profitable. And so we're going to be able to kind of make our money back. Project Frankenstein. Oh yeah, unlocks enhanced employees, can be hired, get 1 free worker on completion. Cool. What can I take out of AI research? Okay, I can go all in and make it designer organs can be monetized for 54. 29. Oh, cool. It's really not worth it, so we'll just toss another body into Meta Friendship. So we'll get better AI next turn. So one of the big ones here is I'm putting a bunch of investment into my ability to continue making things. How are we on efficiency out of curiosity? 8%. So we're probably going to need to do something to fix that soon. We'll upgrade our business school to get more social tokens, build more AI. Rival beat us to a punch. Our rival Paradigm has launched a successful marketing campaign. The promotions have caused us to lose market share and take an income hit. Our rival currently has 5% power. If it reaches 100%, they will take over your company. Your rival is currently 0% vulnerable. If you're able to push this to 100% or stage a hostile takeover, Paradigm will become a subsidiary of Procter and Gamble. We can't do anything about this. Lose 20% income globally next turn, or undercut their prices aggressively. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this the good old-fashioned way. How are you doing, Yep, my friend? This is a wonderful game in which I develop products that will out your gay friends on social media, and I will suppress revolutionaries in order to boost profits, and we are selling people pills to make them not need as much sleep. This game is basically like my day-to-day life, and I like it. How are you doing? Guys, Yip is somebody I actually met as a mod, but I know him as somebody who I played Divinity Original Sin with, Divinity Original Sin 2 with, and just an overall great guy who has now got, I believe the term is a gravity blanket. He is moving up in the world and is all the better for it. New initiative from Procter & Gamble rolls out cyborg enhancement for all. Is human-machine symbiosis humanity's future, or will it change us for the worse? You decide. All right, what am I going to put money into? No Soul Freer. Can we do anything better with business tracking? Yes. Gene stems. So it's definitely not these two. Maybe convenience? Maybe I should just take a break on these because I'm going to be earning less income anyway. I'm going to be a little aggressive in building up my infrastructure. You returned it and got a larger, heavier one. This game is making you realize how potentially dangerous you'd be if given any real amount of power. It's pretty neat. It's nice of you to say. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. The Workers' Party of Oceania have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for material wealth. Following projects have been completed, AI version 2.0. I think probably what's going to have... Yeah, I'm going to have to... So twice as many... Oh, interesting. I think this is still a better... I think this is still the better earning for me, but I actually just want to work this out. So they generate two research for every wage. Oh, interesting. So these are... This is so interesting. So if you look at it this way, right? It's better for me to hire multiple simple AIs than it is for me to hire multiple chatty AIs, because for the cost of 2 wages, I get 5 research versus the chatty AI, which only gives me 4. Whereas previous AIs were number crunchers, these AIs are capable of creativity and convincing speech, perhaps too capable. But they are more creative than my regular workers. So, although technically, when you think about it, right, the interns are still the best return on research. They're like 1.8 per. Oh, actually no. I guess the simple AI is actually the best investment in research. Cool. How are we money-wise? So we're generating about 79. Let's finish the rest of this. South Africa business tracking, total success. Excellent. 3 intern teams handed in their resignation complaining that they had eaten nothing but cat food for 2 weeks straight. Note that this every time an employee leaves or goes on strike, Procter & Gamble gains in efficiency. When projects have been delayed, public user data, this is due to the level of inefficiency at Procter & Gamble. All right. So, this cost me cyber, which I don't have a lot of. I think we're gonna ride out the inefficiencies. What does level 3 AI give me? Ambitious AI can be hired. Oh, I don't think it says what. All right. Those are definitely going to take more resources than I currently have. So we should probably put a little bit more into. We should probably put a little more into. Actually, what are my current head count? What do I have? 27, 28, 39, 40. So I can put everybody into designer organs. Social optimizer. If I can bring this down to 1, so much the better, but okay, I can. All right. Cool. So I gain public user data and social optimizer in 1 turn. Track efficiency, that should be my next one because of the help on inefficiency growth. Should probably also consider designer organs because I'm 35. I'm getting up there, guys. I assure you, Kaylee Cakes, it is worth every cent and will eliminate all sense of loneliness and anxiety that you may come across in bouts of insomnia. Random Citizen 109764. All hail our overseer, System Chalk. He protects us, shelters us, and knows what's best for us. Me. I mean, he's pretty neat, sure, but I wouldn't get terribly attached to your organs if I were you. I'm particularly attached to one organ sin, but so how do you win this game, or are you just causing maximum chaos? So there's 2 things that you want to do. One, you want to not die. So estimated death is 80 to 100. I can spend $1 billion to transfer my consciousness once I have done the research. And then your goals in this game, so there's short term. My board wants me to develop an NGO. I am not doing that right now because I need the class connections to sort of do some focus groups. And then victory. Actually, we never went over this. So imperial victory, rule with an iron fist, surveillance, propaganda, and brutality made efficient through technology. You want to have 12 agenda points, which I don't think the game has covered yet. Implement the Black Ops Division, the Global Police Force, Observation Net, Military Strike Force, Media Firewall, and all nations on the globe have one-party state governments. You can go for consumerist victories. Humans are easily led. People will think they're free, but their governments will be a sham. Their attention will be carefully directed, and even their emotions will be subject to a manipulation. 12 agenda points, own a media company, an NGO, total retail site, university program, effect feedback, and all nations on the globe have democracy. So this is kind of the Brave New World kind of ending, I think. And New World victory. Well, maybe this is the Brave New World victory. Captain Zergi, any chance you can take over EA and make them create bad games and use that as an excuse to close them down? You know, I know it's easy to hate on AI. They actually make very good games, and I can definitely say I know quite a few people at AI right now, and every single one of them is as passionate about making games as any independent designer that I've met. So I realize that's not where you're going with that, Captain Zergi, but it's my opinion on EA was before I knew I had friends who worked at EA. And I lifted that rock, and I was astonished to find out how many people I knew who work there. I don't get to talk to them about work that much, but it's kind of neat to find that out. Okay. Corporations are the future, the next step in human civilization. Revolutionize the world and remake it in a corporate image. 12 agenda points, implement agenda tax haven, global police force, total retail site, international bank, independent legal system, corporate nation infrastructure, and all nations of the globe are the following government type corporate nation. This is neat. So actually, this is a neat concept. Yep. So corporate nation, basically, if a country falls into sufficient chaos, you can come in and establish, basically, you restructure the government as a giant holding company in which everybody kind of has a share of stock. Finally, the humane victory. Leave the world arguably better than you found it, with fairer taxation, more representative governments, and more responsible oversight and a kinder social infrastructure. Have 12 agenda points. Implement a university program, social networking classes, rights and protections, universal income, democratic reform, anti-monopoly laws, electoral task group. All nations on the globe are democracies, and all nations on the globe have their taxation laws at max. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? AI charging ahead. Procter & Gamble continues to developing better, faster AI. As AI tech accelerates exponentially, some ask, are we becoming obsolete? Media opportunity has come to our attention that a local media conglomerate in Asia is having a fire sale to raise some emergency capital. We could snap up the assets in question for a knockdown price, increasing our media presence in the country. 5 million for 5 media power sounds like a fair deal. Let's... okay, meta friendship. I'm actually going to focus test 2 each round now. So I think business tracking, we've got everything. Yep. Let's go for gene stems. Convenience. Never would have guessed. And yet I still spent the points on it. I say that every time, but I was uncertain enough that I spent the points. I shouldn't be allowed to say that. I think I'm going to let my pool of interns dwindle. Well, what do we have? We've got 12, 13, 34, 40. Yeah. I'm going to keep it at 40 for now. I'm pretty sure the AI does not want to keep any of the product of its labor. AI is a capital investment, unless you think it becomes sentient. So North America is just never going to accept my social media. This is the story that I'm getting out of this. Posting to, oh yeah, that's not happening. All right. I mean, better than nothing. Yeah, this was a complete bomb. Security, maybe collectivism? No, not collectivism. I think security is our best hope here. Oh yes. They don't like Xenos at all. I mean, they're not happy on the security thing, but we'll work with it. Motherland is happy. Gene stems. I mean, we'll probably get an average launch. And I don't think they're gonna like gene stems, period. All right. I've already assigned my research. Still hiring my AI. I feel like I've been on this turn longer than... Courtesy note to remind you that your new employees have arrived. Thought you'd be interested in the following geopolitical update. Workers' Party of Oceania have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for publicity. Success Party of North America have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for xenophobia. Following nations have undergone minor cultural shifts. An anti-innovation movement is growing across South America. They believe that humanity has lost its way and to return to a pure, stripped-down, traditional way of life. That's not like Stellaris, where the opposite for innovation is spiritual. Posting Tips Creative Team has thought of a new spin angle. Put yourself out there. It's never been more important to use your social media contacts to network, turn social capital into word of mouth. The Meta Friendship Creative Team has also thought of a new spin angle. Buffer zone. It can be dangerous meeting people online. We all want to reach out, but is it safe? Now, through peer-to-peer friend rankings, we can flag up problem users and keep them at arm's length. That reminds me of something. The following projects have been completed: Public User Data and Social Optimizer. Minimally successful for gene stems, minimally successful business tracking, disastrous gene stems, but successful in South Africa and Europe. One intern team has handed in their resignation, claiming 20-hour workdays were against the spirit, if not the letter of the law. Well, you're never going to become CEO with that attitude. Note that every time an employee leaves or goes on strike, Procter & Gamble gains in efficiency. I think... yeah. So we'll do one like high-end technology and one low-end.
Is it safe? Is it safe?
I don't know what you mean. I can't tell you if something's safe or not, unless I know specifically what you're talking about.
Is it safe?
Tell me what to hit first.
Is it safe?
Yes, it's safe. It's very safe. It's so safe. What?
This might work.
Is it safe?
No, it's not safe. It's very dangerous. Be careful.
Yeah, it's not going to fit in Europe. This should work in the Middle East, though.
That hurt? No, I should think it would. Should take better care of your teeth. You have a cavity here.
Is it safe?
Look, I tell you, I can't do it.
So for those of you who haven't seen the game before, the idea here is to, yeah.
Simple.
Sorry, the "is it safe" line caught me. Part of what this game is, without doing the focus groups, is trying to match the spin that you put on your particular product to match a given culture. So the idea here is, what's the best way that I could explain? Okay, so a lot of countries admire the Scandinavian model of education. And a lot of consultants are brought from countries like Sweden to advise governments about how a given, how a given program should work, or how do you improve their education. One of the most common bits of advice that they give is that you cannot adapt the Scandinavian model just to the country, right? So I can't take a bunch of like Swedish school teachers, plop them in a high school in Canada, and expect to get the educational outcomes that are there. And that's because there are certain sort of standards and expectations and cultural norms that sort of lead to that model working well. Now, this doesn't mean, obviously, we are all people, right? So there are common experiences that we have, and obviously the wonderful thing about ideas is that they are transmitted freely. Me knowing something does not deny you knowledge. You are perfectly capable of understanding the things that I understand, and me sharing them does not mean that you're I know less. But there definitely is a point where, let's throw some, it's not great odds, but I think we'll work with it. I could do as career advice. But it doesn't seem to give me anything. Yeah, so the idea here is that, you could actually, another great example, there are a lot of examples of technology which in history have not really found their place. And it doesn't mean that they're not useful, but what's a good way to put, okay. The idea of atoms. So this can go back to Democritus and Epicurus and, all of these ancient philosophers. The atoms that they were talking about are nothing like the atoms that we know. A lot of examples had like atoms with little hooks, and some of them said that, an atom just swerved one day, which caused all the collisions and all the wonderful things in the world that we know. There's actually a book about that by, I think his last name's Greenblatt. I don't remember this first name, though. He's the guy who edits the Norton Anthology of Literature. It's called The Swerve. And it's about how Epicurus sort of has had this influence throughout history that's largely unappreciated. Now, the atomic theory of Democritus is not a very useful scientific model. And a lot of science was conducted using other models that we think are ridiculous nowadays, and have no basis in fact whatsoever. And now we believe in atoms again. And in this case, so if you consider the idea of an atom as the universe is sort of constituted in these tiny little bits, and you think that is progress, you think that's an idea that will lead you down interesting paths, then it's a useful one. And I would say it's been a very useful one for us. And yet you could make an argument that in the time of Democritus and such, that the atomic theory wasn't, it didn't quite have enough to give us the richness that we see in the world. Of course, the other thing too is that, their atomic theory is different from the one that we know. So that's not a perfect example. But I think you can take a lot of ideas, right? There's certain ideas of Christianity have worked very well in some societies in the past, and there are also lots of examples of the imposition of these ideas causing tremendous strife. When the Europeans show up in your country, they can undermine, political institutions that that kind of underlie your way of life, and it's not. It usually hasn't ended very well, as those of you who kind of watched the slavery article probably know better than. I'm trying to find an individualistic society that actually wants social media. I will do part 2 of that at some point, by the way. At the end of this, I probably don't have that much time left to stream, but I'll show you a little something that I've been working on in that vein. But yeah, I mean, let's face it. I need to acknowledge, the tremendous harm that my ancestors did. And yet there are a number of things about the ideas that they brought over that have been very useful to me. And I'm not talking about, the awful stuff. Like, obviously, if you're just simply exploiting people or something like that, it works wonderfully for you if the exploiter. That's not exactly what I mean, but just simply the idea, there's a lot in the Western tradition that I relate to and find a useful frame of thinking, a useful frame for thinking in. And yet I also need to appreciate that this is not everyone's experience of it. So I kind of like that this idea is captured in the game, which is, you have a given technology, but the adoption of that technology is important. A lot of these technologies rely on network effects. And if you can't actually make the case to people about how it makes their lives better or how it's useful or something like that, it's never gonna move ahead. So it's, I don't know. I like thinking about this stuff. Just from being a class about Rwanda, I learned a lot about colonization, screwing up tons of things in Africa. Yep. The straight lines in Africans' borders are not because the tribes decided that was a great place to put them. All right, I really want to get one more round of this out, but I'm running out of ideas. So let's go to the hiring screen. Let's hire some more simple AIs. The reason I'm doing this, 2.5 research for 1 wage, seems to me to be the most efficient use for research, which is, it's what I want it for. I've also got 16 AI free to do something else. So let's get them to research. Could get them to do career advice. Yeah. Or an employee. Actually, no, we'll do task efficiency because I don't want to have that. I want to sort of curb this inefficiency. Now we'll put some people into career advice. I wonder if I can. All right. I'm just going to try and min-max this. I always keep forgetting to read these. Okay, failure in the... So personally, I think 6 turns is the best way to do these things. I don't like the idea of throwing those resources into something and not seeing a return. Our scientists have identified a new line of research. Pursuing it would yield research gains, but would put a strain on the company. Take the plunge. All right, we'll do one more tutorial and I think we'll call it a night. This tutorial will teach you how to keep your company functional and stop it becoming stagnant. Open the company window. This window displays information about your company. Look at these 2 stats, corruption and inefficiency. If these rise too high, your company will not function. Corruption. When employees accept bribes and perform certain favors for their friends, this deprives the company of much needed profit. The higher your corruption, the more money will mysteriously disappear each turn. It can be lowered with an internal investigation, which costs money and class connections, the favors you have among the movers and shakers of the world. Click internal investigation to lower corruption. You have received enough money and connections to pay for it. Bam. Moving on to inefficiency. Inefficiency. How outdated and unwieldy your company is. The higher your inefficiency, the more likely that, it is that projects will be delayed. You can lower inefficiency with efficiency restructure. This costs money and cyber connections, the favors you have among hackers and cybersecurity experts. Click efficiency restructure to lower inefficiency. Again, you've received enough resources to pay for it. Bam. Good. You may be wondering what the final connection is. These are military connections, your connections among mercenaries and ex-soldiers. Unlike class and cyber connections, you won't use these to improve your company internally. I don't know. If I don't like my board of directors, it's kind of handy to have some mercenaries around. Instead, military connections are used to take part in violent black ops or found new nations in anarchic states. Tutorial complete. Reward $5 million. Not enough to upgrade my business school, though. I think I'm going to hold on to my money for a while. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. The Success Party in North America have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for prosperity. The Liberal Party has won election in North America, retaining their position of power. Following nations have undergone minor cultural shifts. A number of blockbuster VR movies have been released in North Africa depicting an exciting future filled with amazing technology. The people in this nation are now preoccupied with visions of a glorious sci-fi future, shifting their interest toward novelty. Content producers and celebrities across the Middle East are celebrating technology and all its benefits, claiming the world is getting faster, better, and more advanced every day. As a result, people have a greater appreciation of innovation and novelty. Following projects have been completed. Task efficiency. Projects launched this month. Minimally successful social optimizer in North America. The Middle East Myth of Friendship was a total success, and in Oceania, the posting tips were a total success. When projects have been delayed, social optimizer, this is due to the level of inefficiency here at Procter & Gamble. And finally, Eureka! You never know when inspiration will strike. I was in the hall of bath when I had an idea about how to market one of our products. I guess I should give it to you since all my ideas count as my employer's intellectual property by law. Excellent. Forward me your idea. One new spin angle for a random research project. All right. We don't have anybody assigned to these things, right? I'm going to get reckless. I'm just going to focus test the crap out of everything. I didn't think I could sell this. Oh, you know what? These are probably just, yeah. So these, even if you can't sell it, they just hang on from the previous one. Okay. So all my first level ones should be focus grouped. I do think it's a little more fun to try and guess, but I'm sort of screwing up, so. And resources exist to be consumed, damn it. All right, so I've got a bunch of AI available to work on things. I don't really know what career advice will do. So employee nanny will... So, I mean, obviously I'm building my company towards an all AI workforce. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for the designer organs. We'll maybe like throw one AI in a... All right, and we'll close out the turn just by seeing if there's any better things we can do. So, out of everything... Oh, I missed one. Well, this is almost certainly going to be multicultural, yeah. So, like, there's really no good fits here. Yeah, North America just hates my ideas. This will probably do better. We're already firing on all cylinders in South Africa. This would actually make a lot of sense to... what will it cost to donate? 1 favor, 2% influence. What's it going to cost? Okay, so... Posting tips. That won't be compatible. That will. So really all that I want is the social optimizer. So expected income 35. What does it cost me to bribe? This requires social high. So I need 3 favor. Costs 18 million. So basically, I'm putting the upfront benefits from selling this and hoping that this isn't worth it to bribe them for. All right. This might work a little bit better. So I could get 2, so the total value there would be 40 something. Again, I need to spend 3. The other challenge on this one is I don't know who's going to win. So I also need to accept the fact that it's basically a coin toss. So the actual value of this favor... Oh, hang on, but it's a one-party state, so... but I need to spend 60 million because they're a one-party state and they're used to taking bribes. Yeah, I don't think the returns are there. Business tracking. Maybe collective. I mean, it's better than nothing. I don't like convenience. Don't like multiculturalism. They don't like, or, well, they're okay with quality. Let's go over that. What I really should actually be paying attention to what the returns are relative to the cost of launching these things up. USA should like that Unlikables campaign too. Oh, yes. Mexico's there as well. I have a feeling they'd probably be on top of that that particular campaign, with of course due respect. But I mean, this is an average one. It'll make its money back. This is just it. Like, I don't have great uses for these. I don't have really great uses for these. For the money right now, so I want to put them into things that will earn a return, and I'm willing to accept a lower return simply because I don't have. Like, even if I get more points in these connections, it's just going to it's going to be going into things that don't actually earn me money. So as long as these things turn a profit, I'm reasonably happy. So like, this is another example of something where it'll be like middle of the road. Well, actually, this is good for quality, so this will probably be like maybe 4 stars if I get lucky. I never get lucky. Okay. Let's see what happened that turn, and then we will call it. I'll give you guys a quick preview of what I'm working on. This is a courtesy note to remind you that the new employees have arrived. It's probably my AI. We thought you might be interested in the following geopolitical update. The Republican Party in Russia have successfully rebranded their message. They now stand for prosperity. The following nations have undergone minor cultural shifts. The charismatic religious leader in Russia has caused resurgence in the faith's popularity, resulting in a renewed interest in spirituality and the metaphysical. Politicians in South Africa have stressed the importance of political unity. This has had the knock-on effect of making collectivism more popular. Posting Tips creative team has thought of a new spin angle, echo chamber. Don't you hate seeing leftists in your feed? Does it make your blood boil? How about women, or those people? Posting tips infers your personal biases. Posting tips infers your personal biases and filters out anything you won't like, whether it's determined by gender, race, or word length. I'm done for. The Meta Friendship creative team has also thought of a new spin angle. Find your tribe. With our metadata, you can find a community that's perfect for you. Oh man, between Echo Chamber and we're totally winning this. Social Optimizer creative team has also thought of a new spin angle. Turn back the clock. When was the last time you climbed a tree? Walked to work. Caught a ball. We spend so much time online, we forget about the simpler things in life. We'll help you turn the clock back. I absolutely love this game's absolutely savage sense of tech. Okay, we completed career advice, unsuccessful business tracking, unsuccessful task efficiency, but meta friendship and meta friendship was the only total success. The others were minimally successful. So what's our balance sheet look like? I mean, we're making about 10 million more a quarter than what we were previously. I could, of course, like borrow a whole bunch of money and like just throw it into a bunch of like reckless activities. But I think that is it for tonight, guys. So I will take a minute here. Let's save. I'll probably get back to this. I don't know if we'll. I don't know if I'll do it on stream again. I really should do it on stream before the Kickstarter's done. So here are the credits. I'm going to put another link in there. So there's the Kickstarter. If you would like a copy of this game, it'll be 10 euros. If you want to just support it, you can support it for as little as €1. I'm interested in this for sure. I think I'll probably wind up backing it. See, they even thanked me for playing. If you guys want, also, when I tweeted out the stream, the developer's Twitter is at James_D_Patton. I do encourage you guys to check out that Kickstarter link. If you would like, you can also go to itch.io and you can play this demo that I was playing here. This isn't anything special that I got. It was recently updated for the Kickstarter as well, from what I understand. So you can decide if this is the sort of thing that you are interested in picking up. If not, again, as I said, even if you put a little bit towards the development of the game, this means that people like myself will have this game to play. They're currently 1/3 of the way to their Kickstarter goal, but it is worth remembering that Kickstarters have a really big bang at the start. And more importantly, too, it's very clear this person put a lot of effort into this game. I think it shows. I like its take. I think it's sensibly put out. I kind of enjoy this process of discovery in terms of finding, where to do certain marketing campaigns. I'm trying to get over the fact that sometimes there's a technology that a country just simply won't adopt. Obviously, I mean, I'll probably do nefarious things to convert the way people think about them. But I was very pleasantly, I don't think I'll say I was pleasantly surprised. Somebody whose opinion on games I respect had said that the demo for this was really good, and I was waiting for a chance to play it. So I'm glad that I got to stream it. I'm actually curious, guys. I'm gonna just go to IRL for a quick second to show you what I'm working on. But while I've got Spinnortality up, I would love to know what you guys thought of the game. I had a good time playing it, but I also know that I sort of stopped talking about it after a little while because I was busy enjoying it, which is a bad habit of me when I play games like this. But I am curious. I mean, I will admit I do have a little bit of a goal in trying to, maybe not trying to convert people. I mean, if you're not interested in the game, I don't really think I'm going to be able to, to make you buy it. But I am sort of interested in knowing if there were people who sort of think like I do about the game, that this is, maybe my kind of thing, and we'll go out and see if they can do more with it. It's always good feedback to know whether or not I help people sort of connect with a particular project. Oh, excellent. Okay, so I got one conversion. You know what? I'll just put this on top of... All right, so this is a whole bunch of code. Why do you care about this code? Let's go to... Ooh, this is an old version of this file. All right, you know what? I can still make this work. So, this is a little something I've been working on. It will be going live relatively soon. So right now this is the Steam Spy, the results from the Steam Spy API. Steam Spy is a wonderful site, by the way. I'm really happy that he made that API available to people. So this is the sort of the contents of Steam Spy turned into a sort of a data frame that I'm a little more accustomed to working with. So the idea here is that every row is a Steam game, and every column is a variable related to it. So, you know, you have obvious things like name, developer, so on and so forth. There's ownership information here. What I've done is whenever somebody's tagged a game, I've counted each tag and put it into its own column. So for instance, robots. What game is this? Probably Team Fortress 2. Yep. So Team Fortress 2 has the robots tag, but it doesn't have, let's say, it doesn't have the violent tag. It's not a ninja game. But yeah, so what you can see here is this is, instead of using genres as stated by the developers, this is the community talking about these games. And sometimes these aren't genres, right? You know, economy is not a genre. Touch-friendly is not a genre. Pixel graphics is not a genre. But what I am hoping to do here, I've already got I've got a pull from the Steam API as well. So this thing here is all of the information that comes from the Steam API. This is going to be going inside of it. So at the end of all of this, what I will have is a data frame with 15,705 observations and about 420 variables. And the idea here is that this will be as much public information as we can obtain on Steam games and how people have sort of labeled them and their playtime and their ownership and things like that. And there's going to be two things that I do with it. One, I'm going to write a blog using this data set to answer a question related to gaming, which I find interesting, and hopefully you will as well. And the next thing is, once I've got this in a state where I can actually do some work with it, I am going to publish. You could actually do this right now if you wanted, but maybe for those of you who are not, maybe not inclined to doing a project like that, I will make this data frame available online. I'll probably put it in a Dropbox or on a GitHub or something like that. And one of my goals in the analytical project that I'm going to do with this data set is I'm going to try and teach you guys some basics in terms of how you can work with a data set like this and ask some empirical questions, like ask, what is, is this genre more popular than this other one? And, what does more popular mean? What are some ways that we can determine that? I happen to think that's a rather uninteresting question personally, but the hope is to maybe give you guys some tools to play with, as well as there'll be a couple of blog articles that come out of that. I do intend to do the second loot box post before I do the analytical one. But I thought that would be a fun little preview for you guys in terms of some of the stuff I've been working on. If I have been a little more willing to skip over some streams, it is because I've been working on that. So I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys find it interesting. And if you don't understand and you don't find it interesting, well, this is free entertainment, so screw you. Anyways, guys, I'm glad that a lot of you seem to enjoy Spinnortality. I'm glad that some of you will be supporting the project. Do consider it. Also, if you know somebody who is interested in... if you do know somebody who's interested in this game, or if it seems like it'd be the kind of thing that they would be interested in, I encourage you guys to share it around. And yeah, that's it for me. We'll probably be doing XCOM on Wednesday, unless I get tempted and do this game again. But I don't know, I'll probably give it like a week or two to give people another chance to maybe play this game themselves and support the Kickstarter. But I am already late for bed, so I will leave you in peace. Sorry, MC, I'm leaving you. Let's find somebody to host. We're gonna do a proper raid this time. And you know what? Kilgore Trout is streaming Elder Scrolls 2 on GOG.com, so let's So if you guys haven't done Listalia, thank you very much for the love. Now it's all screwed up on my side, but there should be a button saying that you are joining the raid. Oh, I canceled the raid. Sorry guys, let me try that again. So at the top of chat, there should be a button that lets you join in on a raid. It should be counting down. I'd love it if you guys would come along and support the GOG.com raid. Kilgore Trout is a lot of fun to watch. He's playing the second Elder Scrolls game, which I think has all of the things that were good about the first Elder Scrolls game, but with a really impressive graphical upgrade. So I was quite fond of it. I'm halfway through the countdown, so I will just take a quick second and thank some of the people hosting me. Custom Games, Docs Gaming, Flow Fantasy, Mr. Franz, Elcanoe, Sleepbringer, Nubasaur42, Unknown Brigade, Ulster Fighter, Dynamite TV, Amber Ray, Jesse Quill, oh my god, it reset. Sleepbringer, Jesse Quill, Nubasaur42, Ulster Fighter, Custom Games, Mr. Ariel, Yorkshire Bastard, Flow Fantasy, Inferno Fowler, Elcanoe, Kaylee Cake, Starbright Knight, Unknown Brigade, Mr. Franz, Sir Mingo, Docs Gaming, Amber Ray, and Dynamite, thank you very much for the hosts. I will see you all in the GOG channel for joining the raid. Have a good night, folks.